This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 584 for December 31st, 2018. 2019 predictions. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpeer.
Hello.
This is one of our two favorite episodes, the second half. Last week, we talked about the best games of 2018, including the ones we missed, which are probably really good. And this year, we're sneaking in at the very last possible day of 2018. We're going to talk about predictions for 2019. We're going to also cover our predictions from last year, which we had in a sealed envelope in my Google Drive that we're going to rip on open.
We had it in a sealed envelope in your Google Drive and freely available to anybody to download on the feed.
Probably, yeah. So we're going to tear that open and we're going to talk about our hilariously wrong predictions from last year. We're going to cover Knobs, Moonpeer, and myself. And then we're going to go into the community predictions for each category for last year and then this year. If you haven't joined us before, we're going to crown the most correctest of 2018. We've been doing this for 7-8 years, maybe.
Doesn't Hannah usually walk away with it as well?
Usually. I mean, I don't remember. I should have written down who last year's was, but I don't remember. Probably the Hannah.
Yeah.
Insider knowledge, not really. But if you've never joined us for this before, we basically award half or full points for last year's predictions, except for the hosts. We're not here to win. We're just here to talk for 2 more hours in this episode. So they're mostly up to us. Sometimes funny ones get half points. Hey man, I don't. There's no wiki for the rules here. So we'll be doing that as we go through. We're going to go through the normal 4 categories that we usually go to, adding something on at the end this year, which is game releases we're looking forward to most in 2019, which we will talk about in the 2020 predictions, which is a scary thought. And hopefully they were all good in 2019.
Yeah, hopefully.
I guess we'll find out next year. And last thing before we get into it, quick disclaimer, none of us know anything about the future in the game industry, or we don't have any insider knowledge or anything like that. These are just educated / stupid guesses, so...
Don't buy stocks based on what we think.
Yeah, God, no, don't, never. That's for anything we say. Don't buy stocks.
If only there was a show title for the predictions episode, because I think that might take it.
Yeah, man, totally. Okay, so I have 12 pages of notes here, so let's just get right down to it. Microsoft 2018, Knobs predicted Microsoft pushes hard for mixed reality.
Nope.
I thought they were gonna. I thought they were gonna, because I think in 2018 they were still saying, like, all right, VR on the Scorpio, VR on the Xbox One X, and that dried up.
Yeah,
smartly.
And they I think they're still working on the mixed reality. You still hear a lot of them. Like, the only time we heard it talk, and we had a lot of talk about it, was at E3. Specifically, Spency on the Giant Bomb couch. Like, he talked a lot about mixed reality there, but other than that, they didn't really push it.
Yeah, and HoloLens seems more focused on businesses right now, so not a lot going on there. I also predicted get a new Elite controller. I thought this was going to happen too. We got a white one, but that's not...
Everybody predicted this one, and now it comes out that they've patented, or patented, however you want to say it. They've done that for new design specs for a controller. Ooh. Still no sign of it yet, though.
Maybe literally the day when this comes out, they'll say, "Hey, Brent, we snuck it in too."
Yeah.
And he says another slow year for games, going to be a lot of announced stuff for 2019. I I think we all thought that.
Yes.
2017 was too good. We'll take a breather in 2018. Whoops.
Yeah, turns out to just hot banger after hot banger this year.
Yeah. Moon, you predict the Xbox One X continues to sell well, but it doesn't break new sales ground. I am happy to say I think that was wrong. I think it has sold incredibly well.
Yeah, I'd say I think the X sold well better than that's so English, well better. It sold a lot better than any of us expected.
Yeah.
I'm number one, I'm an Xbox fanboy, and number two, I like the bleeding edge. So of course I was going to pick one up. I did not expect that thing to sell as well as it did. I mean, half of our community members who have Xboxes now have the X.
Yeah.
Like, that should tell you how good it's been doing.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you need an X, but, it's still very expensive.
Yeah, it's not free, so... Microsoft will announce at least 5 indie exclusives.
Big on that one?
Yeah, I don't think this has been their year for indies.
No.
Anybody except for the Switch, I guess.
I mean, we got the tease of like the Fox game, but we already knew about that. We got the tease of Below, which is finally out at last, folks. I'm sure I love it.
Thank God. Yeah.
But yeah, no indies.
Yeah.
Boo.
Microsoft loses a bunch more, quote, exclusives to Sony in Japan. I feel like that didn't necessarily happen.
No, it's pretty much been the status quo, and in fact, from the scuttlebutt recently that I've been hearing I've been hearing a fair bit of don't be surprised if you see big Japanese things on the Xbox soon. Stuff like Nier Automata is now on the Xbox, and I've heard some people say don't be surprised to hear it if you see Yakuza on the Xbox at some point soon.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So it turns out it's going the opposite way, and people seem to be learning.
Yeah. And you said Knobs buys at least 3 wireless headsets. I don't think he bought any.
He did not. That's a big no-no on that front.
Yeah.
Great.
I predicted that Microsoft makes Xbox One X enhancements mandatory for all new releases. I don't think they did this, but I think everyone's doing it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they have done it. Most people seem to be embracing it because it's a good way to get if you want Microsoft behind you, you will put X enhancements on there.
Yeah, 4K, HDR, X enhancements.
Look at No Man's Sky. Did any of us think that when No Man's Sky came out on to the Xbox that anybody on Microsoft's side would be pushing it?
Right.
We did not. What did they do? They did native 4K. They did HDR. And all of a sudden, Major Nelson is like, yeah, No Man's Sky is coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's there yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see that prediction this year. Right.
And I say Crackdown 3 gets delayed once more, but comes out in 2018. Whoops. I was ever the optimist.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the community predictions for 2018. T-Bomb Rock says the Xbox One X will take 40% or more of Xbox consoles sold.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
We don't have the exact numbers, but
I don't know if anyone really knows the exact numbers because they don't really publish them anymore.
No. It's the classic industry thing of unless you're number one, you don't talk about the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you're number one nowadays, you don't talk about the numbers. Microsoft will create 2 internal studios and have 3 to 5 third-party exclusives announced. They created 1 and bought 17.
Yeah.
So I'd say like a half a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scalebound will rise from the ashes and be released by the end of the year. If only, man.
Yeah, if wishes could come true.
Yeah.
Beats by a Dragon. Never forget.
Someday, yeah. The Hannah says Crackdown 3 gets delayed again. Yeah, that was a free point, but I'll still write that one down. Another permanent price drop, $50 on each SKU, $200 for the 500 gig, $249 for the 1 terabyte.
I think they might have actually hit that. The X is still holding strong at ridiculous prices.
Let's look. Xbox One S. Let's just do a little bit of research here. Is at, the 1 terabyte is $240 or $230, depending on which bundle you buy.
Yes.
So, yeah, gotta The Hannah with the insider knowledge, getting the point again. That's a joke.
Shock, shock, horror, horror.
OG Xbox or 360 emulation on PC via the Windows 10 store.
I honestly, I can see this coming soon.
Yeah.
But it ain't there yet.
Yeah, I feel like Major Nelson will release a video at some point and be like, "We've got a big surprise for you," and it'll be that. You'll get a Windows 10 store update on your PC, and suddenly you go play Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. Lord Kelmar predicts they'll focus on games.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say Lord Kelmar gets a point here at the very least just for E3, where it's like, hey, we're Microsoft, here's 2 hours of games.
Yep. Probably one of my favorite presentations they've done in years.
Yeah. Jess, a.k.a. Mrs. Moonpier, says Sea of Thieves will be free to play. Surprisingly not.
No, but it's getting... Well, does Game Pass count? Because it kind of is.
I'm surprised that... I'm surprised and happy that Microsoft stuck with Rare with Sea of Thieves, because they could have very easily looked at the first month or 2 months and said, like, okay, cut this thing loose, free to play, you get cosmetic, exclusive stuff for being an early, whatever. But they've been sticking with it and improving it month over month, so I think that's great.
Yeah, I think good on them.
Go get Game Pass.
Yes, do it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, she predicts Game Pass will have a yearly subscription cost. I thought that would happen too, but I haven't seen anything other than, like, here's a deal that you can get 12 months for, 12 one-month codes for cheap.
I'm honestly just still surprised that they are offering it on a monthly basis, like on a month-by-month. Yeah. Because if I'm right, on Sony in the 3-month, 6-month, 12-month book, like, they don't do a month, do they?
They do a month for PlayStation Plus, and I think PS Now does monthly. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's really not worth month to month.
Mm-hmm. But no, I love Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass is it's like stealing games. I don't understand how they have had it so cheap.
Yep,
but 2 thumbs up. Corey predicts Microsoft announces Xbox VR for holiday 2018. Yeah, I think up until E3, that would have been a safe bet. And at E3, they were like, nah, man.
Yeah, what's this VR thing that you keep talking about? We're all about the MR.
We never talked about that. HoloLens, yeah, that's the stuff.
Yup.
And also predicts that Halo TV show from Steven Spielberg finally comes out as a lead-in to Halo 6. Didn't that just get canned? Some Halo thing. I think the producers were like, chances might not be good.
Who knows with Halo stuff? Like, the worst thing is like for the live action Halo stuff they've done, it's genuinely speaking amazing. Like, if you've never seen whatever Until Dawn or whatever it is, the precursor to Halo 4 that they did, that thing is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
They just can't seem to get their stuff together with Halo. Unless it's a book or a video game, they can't seem to get it together.
Yeah. Boo.
Musin predicts new first-party franchise announcement, and it's a hero shooter / arena versus game with their first-party characters.
Nope, but E3 2019 awaits. Mm-hmm. We've got the developers for it now.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta open up Amazon here again because there's a price prediction. Xbox One X price lowers to $400. I don't believe it's there yet. Some bundles have gotten pretty cheap, but not.
Yeah, but usually around the sale times, usually around the Black Fridays. I bet you it'll be $400 in about 2 weeks from recording this.
Right.
Or 2 weeks before hearing this.
Right. Do the episode math. Microsoft makes the Xbox OS capable of running Steam. I think that was probably his. He usually has a way out there prediction, and I feel like that was probably the one.
Yeah, more than likely.
Since Steam OS is on its last legs itself anyway.
Yeah. Bye-bye, Steam Link.
Yeah. Matt from Oz predicts mixed reality launches on Xbox One X in November. No
I
one.
really, really want it. Like, out of curiosity, did you ever see the thing that they did for like the Kinect and projector with your TV?
Yeah.
Like, it was so cool, like expanding the field of view to like take the area around your television.
Yeah.
Such a cool idea, but you'd have to be so rich to actually have a format to use it.
Nobody had a room big enough to use the Kinect in the first place. So, new IP announced at E3. They had some third-party announcements like Twin Mirror and stuff like that. But
they had the big announcement for E3, but it wasn't exactly new. The Cyberpunk one.
Yeah, and they announced like Gears 5, but I don't know if they announced a new IP.
I apologize if you hear paper rustling. Give me one moment here.
I feel like that's what they were leaning towards, or that's the direction they're moving towards with their big studio purchases and creation. I feel like those aren't the studios you give Gears 6. Those are the studios you come to them and say, make something new.
I think he gets a point for this.
Okay.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice was announced at E3.
From Microsoft?
From Microsoft.
Okay. Matt from Oz, you get a point.
They also announced Captain Spirit. Was it? I think it was first shown out of their stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I totally forgot about that game. Good call. Matt from Oz gets a point.
Yep. Session was announced at their show as well.
His last prediction here is Crackdown 3 completely flops.
Well, if by flops you mean didn't even make it out the gate, correct.
Coming out in a couple months. Gibbionator predicts Crackdown 3 gets massively inflated review scores for being a first-party Xbox One exclusive in a world where those are in very short supply. See us in 2019, I guess. Scalebound will be resurrected, but without Platinum at the helm, so what would the point even be?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't come true, but man, maybe. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
No more shovelware on Xbox One backwards compatibility. It's time for them to finally give us Tales of Vesperia. We got something even better.
Tales of Berseria.
No, we got the Tales of Vesperia
the HD
remaster.
Yep.
Yeah. Maximus Prime predicts by the close of 2018, Microsoft will be respected by the games industry for an incredibly strong turnaround.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
That's
a point.
Out of all of the big three companies, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, I would probably put Microsoft number one in terms of reputation right now.
Yeah. I'd say. Yeah, so Nintendo's probably way up there too, but I feel like Microsoft has had the biggest turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the what's next Nintendo stage. Sony are at the what are you going to say next Sony stage.
The what are you doing stage.
And with Microsoft, we're at, okay, what positive thing are we going to do next kind of thing.
Right. He predicts the Xbox One S will drop to $200 and the X will be $400. These prices and a surprisingly great list of exclusives and the best experience for third-party games will push it to outsell the PS4 consoles by a large margin.
Getting parity, but not outselling.
Yeah. And I feel like as we talked about in the other ones, prices aren't really quite there yet either. They will show their AR headset at E3 and release it in the fall. It sells out day one, ushers in a new way to play games that so many hoped VR would, but didn't.
Oh, I wish.
Maybe 2019. All right. Speaking of 2019, let's talk about our predictions for 2019 for Microsoft. We'll go with Moon and then myself, and then we'll hit your community predictions. So take it away, Moon.
Okay, so first and foremost, no next-gen Xbox announced. I'll be honest, I think this might be a mistake. But they've only just released the X, so I think they're just going to push hard on the X. I don't see them talking about the Xbox Next with the big X in the logo. I don't see them talking about that while they still have the most powerful console on the planet out there. So I think they're going to just keep pushing the X, give the S as an option. I do think that they will be dropping the streaming box, at least the streaming box announcement this year. Right. So I'm expecting them to come out possibly E3, and give everybody that option, because while their announcement for it did seem like a response to Google saying, yo, we're getting into streaming, I think if anyone's going to, company-wise, if anyone can turn it around quickly enough to get it out the gate that quick, it's probably going to be Microsoft.
Yeah.
So I expect them to do the streaming box announcement. No next-gen platform as of yet. They're going to push hard on Game Pass for the PC specifically. They've been talking about this all this year, and I think 2019 is the year that they're going to do it. You've got all of the developers they've just bought, all of the deals that they're cutting with various developers. So I think the PC version of Game Pass does start to... It doesn't gain parity, but it gains a bit of headway with the Xbox version of Game Pass.
Right.
So it's not going to have the library of... I don't honestly expect them to be able to come out and say 100 plus games like they do on the Xbox.
Right. Maybe
25 plus, maybe 50 plus. But I think they're going to start making headway into that kind of thing. And this is my long shot one. 4 new games teased or announced in 2019. I wish Obsidian didn't do what they did this week, recording the show, and just pushed it back maybe 4 weeks or so.
Right.
Because then I'd get 1 check mark on my box at least.
Right.
But 4 new games.
Like brand new IPs?
New IPs, hopefully, but new games at least. So,
right.
Hopefully 2 new IPs, 2 sequels maybe. I honestly don't mind. But 4 brand new games from the wealth of developers they've got, teased or released. I don't mind which one, even if they just tease them. That's fine. Because Microsoft needs games. They do. And they're going to keep going along with the same thing they do, which is PC and console. Like, they're doing that whole thing where they're pushing both equally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they come out the gate with anywhere between 4 to 6, then they've got a nice big jump on development. And finally, still no first-party Xbox wireless headset, because they seem to be determined to ruin people's dreams.
Yeah, there's always, like, every couple of months they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's a thing, still working on it, but...
Yeah, like they recently talked about how good the first-party Xbox headset was with the Surface.
Right.
But they don't have one for the Xbox.
Ouch.
So, yes, that's my predictions for Microsoft.
I predict that Microsoft is going to expand Game Pass to PC in 2019. That half is probably the easy part. But it doesn't... I think at the end of the day, it's not really going to mean much. I think it might have 1 or 2 PC exclusive games, but I think it's mostly going to be cross-platform stuff like Forza Horizon 4 that's already in the Windows 10 game store or the Xbox app or whatever they call it nowadays.
Yeah, like Sea of Thieves, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they're going to either rebrand that or sort of release a separate app for Game Pass. And I think they're just going to collect a lot of stuff under there and say, like, here's all the Game Pass on PC. And it's going to be like, yeah, I mean, that's easier to get to, but technically that stuff was there before. So I think it's going to be one of those technically releases it's good because people will be able to find Game Pass stuff more easily, but it's not going to be, like you said, it's not going to be like 100 games on PC. It's like,
yeah. Are we expecting games for Windows Game Pass?
Games for Windows Game Pass Live. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Microsoft is going to detail new console plans at E3 and ask for fan feedback. This is alongside them laying out final details for 3 console plan. So the 3 console plan to me is the X, the S, and the streaming box. I think that's the current ecosystem. At E3, they'll probably announce like final details for the streaming box and a release date. If not, it's coming out around E3. I think at the same time, sort of after they announce that 3-box platform, they'll say, let's take a look at the future and start talking from a really high-level standpoint about what the next Xbox platform looks like in a couple of years. And I think this is when they start to gather a lot of fan feedback and say, oh, go vote and go hit us up on Reddit and Twitter and stuff like that, and try and not control the conversation, but try and start the conversation there.
Yeah.
But I don't even think they come out with any details, even less of what they did with Scorpio.
Yeah.
Scorpio's like strongest and most powerful in VR, and I don't think they even do that.
Like, quick question: naming conventions.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. For me, for the streaming box and for the next Xbox, I have no idea. Unless you call it like the Xbox One Stream.
That sounds like someone's urinating.
Right. I'm not the best marketing, as you can tell.
In all honesty, I think they need to go Xbox. The problem here will be confusion. I think they messed up by calling the middle one the S, because you go Xbox S for the streaming, Xbox for the mid tier, and Xbox X for the high tier. And then you just keep using that name over and over again. If Apple can get away with you tell me how many different versions of the iPad are there? They're just called the iPad.
Yeah, you just released the Xbox One 2019 model.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's probably one of the larger challenges, because PlayStation, next one you call it the PS5. And you're good. Like, you're done. So I don't know. That's a good question, though. And my last prediction is, I think we're going to start seeing their new focus on games start to bear fruit in the second half of the year. I think even leading up to and around E3, we really don't see a lot of new stuff. Continue to see third-party stuff still come out. That's fine. But I think stuff that's coming out of Microsoft first and second-party studios, I don't think that really happens. I think we see a lot of that stuff at E3, and we'll see a lot of like fall 2019, coming out June 25th, 2019, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing like, I don't think they're going to come out in January, like their monthly thing, and say like, all right, this game is coming out on March 31st, 2019. I don't think that's really going to happen for them.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, as people need to understand, they just bought like 25,000 studios.
Right.
And development takes time. And even if these studios were in the middle of making something, there is a whole bunch of like licensing rights, fees, things like that, staffing. Does it have enough people? Does it need more time? Like, this type of stuff takes time. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see games from like this year's purchases, like Obsidian and things like that, minus the Obsidian one, because they kind of teased that it's coming out next year. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any of the other developers put something out in 2019. I'm expecting their releases in 2020.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the community predictions. Musum is going to start us out here by saying they buy Insomniac. That would be insane.
It would probably be one of the best purchases they could make.
Yeah. I feel like Insomniac is still such a Sony second-party studio that they're not really, they're technically a third party, but like other than
Sunset Overdrive,
other than Sunset Overdrive, like they're just putting stuff out on Sony platforms. So honestly, I think if Sony don't invest in them and make them a second party, Sony are making a mistake, because how much do Sony owe that studio? Period. Like, from the get-go. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Sony hasn't tried to do that already. I wonder if Insomniac is just greatly valuing their independence.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He says they'll have at least 3 new IP announcements. So he's going a little bit on sort of your neck of the woods, but going a little bit harder by saying 3 new ones. And he's predicting they stay in E3, which I don't think they've announced that they're coming to E3, but I feel like that's probably, for Microsoft, that's probably a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
T-Bomb Rocks predicts Microsoft purchases or acquires at least 2 new studios. I think that's interesting. Is 2019 a year where they're going to continue to expand, or are they going to say, all right, we did a lot of that in 2018, now we got to build this roster, build this stable of companies?
How about this for an out there idea? Microsoft purchase Platinum and then continue developing Beats by Dragon on that.
That'd be one of the largest video game turnarounds.
Yep.
Man. Predicts Design Lab lets you create your own custom Elite controller.
Yeah, they kind of need to do that because from what I understand, they are making gangbusters of money from the Design Lab controllers.
And it's cool because those controllers look great.
Yeah, they look great. You can make them as crazy as you want them. You can make them as cool as you want them. Yeah. And the fact that essentially it's just pre-molded stuff that they're just injecting different colored plastics and things into.
Yeah.
They got to be making so much money on that stuff.
Yeah. I would hope the overheads would be great on that one.
Yeah.
And the last prediction, the one I want to have come true, is the Yakuza series is announced. It's coming to Xbox.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so because Yakuza needs more love.
Yeah.
And look at Nier Automata. That's a Game of the Year candidate from the second it came out, despite everybody's insistence that it was going to be terrible. Yeah. And it came to the Xbox this year, and from what I understand, it's done really well on the Xbox as well.
Yep.
So, get out there, get some Yakuza on my Xbox, please.
A 7 Yakuza game pack, 0 through 6. Let's knock it out on one package.
Don't tease me like that.
Bearded Lady predicts will attempt some sort of Game Pass / game streaming bundle thingy, or at least announce their intentions. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you push it out past 2019, then it's sort of like, yeah, but the next Xbox, you know. Mm-hmm. They could price it at like $50 and be like, okay, great, cool, come on in.
Yeah.
And she predicts they will slam dunk on Sony for skipping E3. I feel like that's a free point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good to be here at E3 with everybody, unlike some people.
Right, unlike a blue company.
Yes.
Servo predicts expanded Game Pass on PC includes 360 library. That would be great.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize how many 360 games I still have. Like, I got rid of most of my collection when I moved to the States. Mm-hmm. I've got 2 of those. Like, you're slightly older than me, so you'll know this. These CD binders.
Yeah.
I have 3 of those full of Xbox 360 games sitting downstairs, and a drawer full of 360 games on that side of the room.
Right. And you're using one for a coaster right now. It's just a copy of Rock Band 3. Like, I got them everywhere. New Elite controller with personalizing options. Now, there is an interesting one where sort of a hybrid of all these other ones where, new Elite is coming out, and it's finally the customized one.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I hope they take it to the Design Labs, because if they can take it to Design Labs, it would be great. Yeah,
here's a brand new one, and it's in Design Labs. You get the best of both worlds. And Streambox Unveil, no disk drive, is basically saying like it's an Xbox One S without the disk drive. So,
yep.
Gibinator predicts a major breakthrough in 360 emulation and brings 360 backwards compatibility to Windows 10. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to be honest, most PCs are powerhouses these days that should be able to run this stuff no problem.
Yeah.
It's literally just the DRM tech that's the problem, I think.
Completely forgotten action game Stubbs the Zombie gets the HD remaster treatment. That game is beloved and has an incredible soundtrack of covers. I'd like to see more people play that, including myself.
Yeah.
The acquisition war between Microsoft and THQ Nordic ends with Microsoft buying THQ.
That would be incredible. If Microsoft picked up THQ Nordic, that would be absolutely hilarious.
That would be really great. The Hannah predicts version of Xbox One without disk drive release date given at E3. That seems fair. New console plans leaked or released sometime in 2019. I like that he put leaked in here as well, because
that's the more likely of the two, I think.
Yeah. Microsoft announces Alpha Protocol 2 in development by Obsidian.
Please.
Maximus Prime is up next. He got a little fun with his naming here, so I'm only going to do this once. Johnny Mac, a.k.a. Maximus Prime, a.k.a. UCA Mac, a.k.a. Mac Daddy Slims, His first prediction is, first and foremost, Microsoft will announce the release date of the next-gen Xbox. I think that's interesting because he's going all in on here's when the brand new next one is coming out.
Yeah.
As opposed to, excuse me.
As opposed to your voice dying.
My goodness, we have so much more to record today. And
yeah, that's not a good sign, dude. We're only 35 minutes in.
Yeah. Excuse me. Microsoft will package Xbox Live and Game Pass together for one fee of $100.
Honestly, I'm waiting for them to... This is the problem, is I think to do that, you need Game Pass to be doing poorly.
Right.
Like, at this point, like, it was a big step for them to take Xbox Live Gold off Netflix, like, so you can watch Netflix without needing Gold, because that lost them a lot of money. Good for the customers, but bad for them. At this point, I think if you blend Game Pass and Gold into the same service, you run into a huge financial loss, because right now, Game Pass is doing gangbusters from what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I think the only way you recoup that is if you make it an all-access pass. It has Xbox Live, Game Pass, and streaming.
Yeah.
And you say, look, you get everything in the Xbox. You know, that's your all-access pass. You get everything you could potentially want to do. You pay, let's say it's $100 a year. That's probably way too cheap. But, like, let's say you pay this X amount of money per year, and then, you know, we'll just give you everything. You don't have to worry about it until next year.
Mm-hmm. No, it'd be interesting to see what they can do with that.
Yeah. Microsoft Games lineup for 2019 will actually prove to be very strong and help right the ship, changing the no games on Xbox opinion. I feel like the no games on Xbox thing is still like a holdover from the original Xbox, that it's almost like a meme at this point, where that hasn't been true in a long time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about that is you can rephrase that and then make it more accurately, which is no Japanese games on the Xbox.
Yes. Yeah, that's been true for quite a while.
And I feel like that might change. The rumors of Yakuza, you know, and Nier coming out and doing well, people seem to be learning.
They have that door open a crack, and they're sort of looking at it and they're like, oh, okay, people do like that.
Yeah. It's already on PC. How much work can it actually be? Right,
yeah, like how many man hours can it take? Okay, we'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Late Elf predicts Game Pass multi-platform. That's probably a fair one. More AAA releases going Game Pass day one. Yeah, I'm going to be really curious to see if they put Gears 5 on there.
It will be. They've already promised every single first-party Microsoft game is on Game Pass.
Awesome.
Day one. So
such a good
Gears
deal.
5 will be there. It started with Sea of Thieves, and then it just moved backwards. Like, the things that they've struggled with is putting the older ones on there.
Right.
Like Forza Horizon 3, I don't think is on there yet. But
yeah, I don't think so.
Forza Horizon 4 was day and date. Sea of Thieves was day and date. Crackdown 3 we already know is going to be day and date. And they've offered preloading now as well. So
yes. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last, Major Nelson gets a promotion. That'd be nice.
Colonel Nelson?
Sergeant? I don't know what the ranks are. Colonel Nelson is really good, though. And someone just going by real name, I think they took my instructions a little too literally. Says they tease or announce a next Xbox iteration.
Mm-hmm.
They buy a Sony predominant studio like Naughty Dog or Quantic Dreams. Boy, either one of those would be, like any of those, Insomniac, like, those would be huge gets to pull the power away from Sony a little bit for their exclusive single player games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big three, isn't it? It's Naughty Dog, Quantic Dream, and Insomniac. Like, they are the big three third-party developers who pretty much only seem to work for Sony.
Yep. There's like blurring the lines between third party and second party.
Don't buy Quantic Dream, thank you very much.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that headache. And lastly, the WoW at E3 with massive Microsoft platform exclusives. I hope. I mean, I'd love them to. That'd be great.
Yeah. It's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting hearing the console exclusive line a lot more.
Console exclusive.
World exclusive. Console exclusive.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, we know you're going to put these out on PC, dude. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
like it's just Xbox One and PC. Like, just say that.
Yeah.
All right, let's recap our predictions for 2018 for Nintendo. Knobs predicted a new Pikmin game this year. I'm surprised that didn't happen or get announced.
Yeah,
at some point.
It should have done. It's one of the things they're missing on, but from what I understand, the last Pikmin didn't do great.
Yeah.
It's one of their franchises. It's one of the stalwarts. Everybody knows him. That guy's in Smash Brothers. Come on.
Right. Yeah. The next Metroid game will be teased, but not a Metroid Prime game. Shockingly, they teased a Metroid Prime game.
Yep.
Which I think we had agreed last year is like, yeah, they're going to come out with another Metroid game, but it's going to be like a 3D battle arena pinball game. Like, it's just going to be not what you want. And Next Level Games will announce a new IP. I don't think we've seen anything from them in a while.
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, I think they're quiet for the moment.
Yeah.
You predicted they'll keep up with steady first-party releases around one new game a quarter. I think they did that last year.
Yep, definitely. I mean, this year,
including Smash that just came out. You know, they nailed
Smash
2018.
Yeah, but again, good on them for the forethought to not just smash everything out the door first thing. No pun intended.
Right. Yeah, just don't put 4 games out when the console launches, and people are like, okay, I finished all those. Oh, you don't have anything this year? Okay.
Yeah, they did good.
You predicted they'll lose all the remainder of their third-party support.
Yes and no. Are we count indie?
Yeah, that's the thing I'm sort of struggling with, where it's like, I feel like a lot of third parties, it's so different from the Wii and the Wii U, because a lot of third parties would just take Call of Duty and squish it down on this console. They're not doing that anymore. They're saying, cool, we're not coming out with the next Call of Duty on Switch because they can't, it's just not going to work for whatever reason. But instead, EA is going to put a Switch exclusive game of some sort, like, you know, that battle. Ubisoft came out with that Starlink Battle for Atlas. That's very clearly, it came out and everything, but they're clearly pushing the Switch version.
Especially when you have a Star Fox thing built into it. Yeah, they're 100% pushing the Switch version.
And even Ubisoft came out with Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Which didn't come out on anything else, obviously, but like,
and something from the Game Awards this recent week, way back in the past now, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Switch exclusive,
right? Just that whole sentence is insane. Yeah, just for like 12 reasons.
Which, for the record, folks, we haven't actually spoken about this yet on the TVGP show proper, but I couldn't have got that more wrong.
You also predicted the Nintendo Network will be terrible.
Yes. Swish. I don't care. Swish. That's a swish. Give me a point, Boston. Boston, give me a point. I need one.
I'll give you a point. I feel like the worst part about the Nintendo Online stuff is that it kind of landed and no one cared. No one cared about the old games. The price is fine. The online stuff for a lot of the games works fine. Like, it's just, they came out with an online system that is like Nintendo. It's just a little bit old, and it's fine.
Yep. I think that pretty much sums up their online service as a little bit old. It's perfect.
Yeah. And they're going to continue to get indies for the next 6 months, then the store will get flooded.
Kind of true.
I feel like the floodgates are opening.
So, come on, they are open, dude.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen them all the way open yet, though. I feel like we haven't seen them Steam open.
No, nobody can be Steam open. Steam open is a whole different level of insanity.
I hope not. I predicted 3DS sales start to slow steadily over the year, with sales shifting over to the Switch. Yeah.
Yep.
Nintendo continues to court indies on the Switch over 2018. The console becomes the place for indie devs to release their games. Yep. Man, I got one. I did it, Mom. And a Metroid game gets announced, but it's not what we want.
Big wrong there.
Yeah, half right and half wrong on that one. Thankfully it is what we want. I mean, hopefully, because it's not out yet. But
yeah, just the whole indie things on Nintendo, like, gotta give them credit when the developers of like Into the Breach and FTL come out and be like, oh, by the way, this drops now.
Yeah, it's out on Switch. PS4 and Xbox One, I don't really know.
But like everyone loses their mind because these great games are now available on Switch. So
yeah,
good on Nintendo, I guess.
Yeah, good on them for at least, if not encouraging it, at least fostering it at some level to say like, yeah, we want the indies to come over here and do well. So
how easy must their stuff be to tech for that? Like that's the biggest thing. Like, because everybody made a big deal with the PlayStation 3 of like how it was literally a nightmare to get things to run on it. Go look at Skyrim on the PlayStation 3 for tales of hilarity. God. How easy must it be to port things over for the Switch for these 1-2-man teams to be like, yo, it's out?
Well, and I think coupling that, I think there are a lot of really solid port houses now that were coming up in the Vita heyday with indies, and now they're saying, hey man, we've been around for 5 years or so. Look at all these crazy great games we ported to the Vita. We can do that for you for the Switch. You don't have to worry about it. We'll just take care of it for X, thousands of dollars. You can start selling this game on Switch, where all the indie games are hot.
I mean, good on our old boys who did the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. Way better than it had any right to be. Whoever that is, I need to find out and track their work. Yeah,
I don't remember who. I feel like it might have been Blue Point, maybe. I don't remember. All right, let's move on to community predictions. T-Bomb Rocks predicted ribbons will be announced as their form of achievements. Surprised they haven't touched that at all this year. They don't care.
I think, honestly, it's a case of they don't care, and it's a reason for hackers to try and hack.
Yeah, and a lot of indie developers have been putting it in their game anyway, so Nintendo doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing or Pokemon will not release for the Switch this year. Pokemon Go did. It was like a proper Pokemon game.
I think you'll find it's a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee.
Thank you very much. I forgot the Let's. Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot the encouragement for them to come with you.
Yes.
Animal Crossing, they announced it a couple months ago. Yeah, but it's not out.
I think they announced but not released.
Yeah, so we'll give a half a point there. Nintendo will introduce microtransactions into their exclusives. It won't seem that bad because they will Nintendo it up. No. I feel like Smash Brothers doesn't, Splatoon doesn't.
Nope. They have microtransactions on their store now, which was something people were really pleased they didn't, but now they're there.
Right.
But it's not for any Nintendo games.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't... Yeah, I can't think of... I feel like there would have been a big kerfuffle if the first one that happened was like, Nintendo's finally doing MTX. Oh, it's the end times.
Yeah, Jim Sterling would have had a tirade of unbelievable proportions.
Right. Whatever those videos are that he dresses up in the costumes and has the very posh British... God, I love those videos. So good. The Hannah predicts 3DS support tapers off in favor of Switch. Give a point for that one. Switch releases slow down, but sales stay steady. Well, that's a tough one to say.
Yeah,
I feel like... Yeah, I'd give a point for that.
Nintendo complained about not hitting their sales targets, but Nintendo set it kind of high.
I had 13 presents last year. I only have 12 this year.
It's a very Dursley from Harry Potter moment.
Yep.
No, we'll just run out and get you. We've still got 2 to buy today. We'll get you 2 today.
Yeah. New Mario Party for Switch, resulting in another giant bomb Mario Party where Jeff finally kills Dan.
There hasn't been the party yet.
Right. But it did come out, right? Mario Party...
Yes, it's
10?
Super Mario Party, I believe it's called, or something like that.
Oh, God, something. Half a point for that, then, because Dan didn't die.
Well, it's the...
There's still time, yeah.
It's the end of the year stuff. We know they're in the same building. They're putting together videos, so...
Yeah.
Our Christmas wish.
Right.
I feel bad saying that about Dan, because I actually
we don't want anyone to
enjoy
die.
him.
Yeah. Corey predicts Nintendo revives F-Zero from the devs of Fast RMX.
I wish.
Sadly, no.
I wish. They need to give me that sweet music.
Yeah. Give me that sweet speed.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4 will be called Metroid Prime Dread. I don't even think they're calling it Metroid Prime 4 yet. I think... No, maybe they are. It's mostly like Metroid Prime. Again, the new one.
HD.
Yeah. Super Mario Maker 2 releases on Switch. I'm genuinely surprised this hasn't happened.
After the amount of fuss they got, that, like, when Mario Maker hit, I was expecting a ripple in the pond. It wasn't a ripple, it was a tidal wave that came out of that pond.
A boulder someone tossed in there.
And how they've got to be working on it. It's got to be a 2019 thing for them at this point.
I feel like if they didn't have Labo this year, they probably would have maybe done that. But I feel like now that Labo's out, they can have a long tail on that, where maybe once, maybe twice a year, they release a new pack, and then their next big creative thing will probably be Mario Maker 2.
Yeah,
I should have predicted that'll happen this year. I didn't.
Yep, me neither. Hey, Boston, cut this section out. I predict Mario Maker 2 from Nintendo.
Right. Musin predicts Switch is the best-selling during the whole year. That's a point. Where's Musin? There it is. That's a point. Mm-hmm. Nintendo's online PS Plus / Xbox Live Gold equivalent delayed to 2019. Shockingly, no.
It came out. It's a terrible disappointment.
Thought that was a shoo-in.
It came out.
Yeah. Nintendo starts releasing game variants of the Switch, like they did with the DS and Game Boy. That's a +1.
Yeah.
Matt from Oz predicts continues to release 3DS games and manufacture 3DS hardware. That's a big old +1. Where's it? Pokemon RPG on Switch. That's a +1. That's a let's go +1. And they announce a minor revision to the Switch hardware. Wow. 3 out of 3.
Have they technically announced it?
They did during an investor call. I could do a half on that one.
If they've talked about it in an investor call, that's as good as near as makes no difference in announcement.
Yeah, Lord knows, 2 minutes later there'll be 4 million YouTube videos of Switch 2 announced. Oh my god, your Switch is worth it. Don't buy this Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Gabinator predicts Switch sales will be within striking distance of Xbox's second place by year's end. I think they're number one.
This year, they're definitely number one. I don't think in total they're number one, but I'm pretty sure they sold a boatload this year.
Yeah. Yeah, especially during Black Friday. They sold so many. Detective Pikachu gets full localization announced. Ryan Reynolds not cast as the voice of Pikachu in the game. I don't know who Detective Pikachu game voice cast. I actually don't know who this is. Who this is going to be?
It's going to be one of the big two, and you know it is.
Yeah, like in the movie, it is
Ryan Reynolds.
It's Ryan Reynolds, which we didn't talk about that trailer on the show. I think it looks amazingly stupid.
Yep. If you ever want a really big laugh, go watch the start of the Giant Bomb episode after it came out, because Brad hasn't seen that trailer. So go to their site and watch the video, because it's him watching the video during the podcast, and his reaction is hilariously funny.
That's really good. I think it's Kaiji Tang. So, but I don't know. That's one of the weird things where everyone's talking about the movie online, and it's sort of
hard to find details about the game.
Yeah, I believe the game is still coming out.
Yes, and if it does get brought over here, we already know it's going to be one of the big two voice actors are going to do it. It's going to be one of two people.
Steve Bloom or Nolan North.
Hashtag 2020, yes.
Right, yeah. 3DS starts getting sunsetted by year's end, but still gets lots of indie / third-party support. Nintendo came out recently saying, like, no, man, we're keeping on.
Yep. It's the old board of directors, we still have faith in our product kind of thing.
Yeah. Good for them.
Wait until you see my prediction for 2019.
Okay. Maximus Prime wraps out our predictions for 2018, saying the Switch will continue to sell like gangbusters despite the fact their third-party showing is weak.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I feel like you sell a lot of indies, and that sells a lot of consoles too.
Yeah.
They will introduce 3 new colors of Nintendo Switch, and people will lose their mind like it actually matters. I like a little bit of sass there.
Yeah.
I guess technically they did because there were...
Are you kidding me? They released a NES controller. What are these things called? The Joy-Cons? Like they released
the Joy-Cons, yeah.
Yeah, they released a NES controller Joy-Cons that was only available to buy from Nintendo's website, and only if you were a subscriber to the online service. And people lost their minds. I give Maximus the point.
So I'm giving him a point, but I want to say pedantically, whenever I think of colors, I think of like the Game Boy Advance and the 3DS, where it's like, now it's just in orange and white and blue instead of like, here's a Pokemon one and here's a Monster Hunter one. Like, to me, those are separate, but...
Here's the chocolate brown Zune.
Yeah. Poor Zune. Make me cry. Nintendo and the games industry will realize Nintendo released all its best games in 2017 and doesn't have a great Nintendo for 2018.
Oh boy, does Maximus not like Smash Brothers.
I can tell. I don't think Maximus likes Nintendo in general.
Yeah. Fair point.
All right, let's talk about our predictions for Nintendo in 2019, starting with you, Moon.
Okay, so let me talk about how the sunsetting of the 3DS will begin. Like I mentioned, I think the recent statement is it was very much a board of directors, we still have faith in this person kind of thing. And then 2 weeks later, that person's fired.
Right. He had to leave for health reasons. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I honestly, they've got
the 3DS wants to go spend more time with its family.
Yes. We've got a nice 3DS farm where all the 3DSs all get to spend time with each other.
It's just sleeping.
Yes. Forever.
Yeah.
So it's got to begin at some point, and honestly, the Switch has done fantastically well, and if they want the Switch sales to improve, they need to start distancing themselves from the 3DS.
Right.
Because they need to push it as the handheld that it technically is. I think it's probably a better handheld than it is a console right now.
I don't have it hooked up to my TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I have the dock in my bedroom, and that's where I play my Switch.
It's interesting, but I think they have to begin sunsetting that thing.
Yeah.
They teased 2 new games this year at some point. And it's Nintendo, so we know it's not going to be new IPs. We know it's going to be existing IPs. Get ready for that sweet Kid Icarus on the Switch.
Yeah. Kid Icarus and Pikmin.
Yeah. Honestly, if that's the 2, I will be surprised. But 2 new games, don't care what it is. Like, they'll probably announce them because they'll probably be 2020's release schedule, because we know Metroid is coming out next year, hopefully. But we'll see.
Yeah.
They both release the updated Switch, and they do the custom prints for different games again, except they have cool like new designs on them, kind of like they did with the SP. Like I had a Game Boy SP that had the Triforce logo on the front.
Yeah,
and it was great, and it was like my favorite SP ever. So they're going to continue doing that. The problem is, it's going to be the same price for the same tech. I think while it's improved, I don't think there's any upgrades, so to speak. So maybe a better screen, maybe a better resolution, better capacitive touchscreen or whatever. But all in all, it's just a general improvement from the Gen 1 version. It's not like big steps up.
It's not like from the GBA to the SP, where it's like, okay, this is a major thing.
Or to the color, which was mind-blowing.
Right.
And let's see how far we can reach prediction for this one is the N64 Classic gets announced.
Right.
Because we all know the N64 is the easiest thing to port. It's clearly the console that's going to hold up the best in terms of graphics.
Naturally, yes.
Let's just put out an N64 Classic and see how things go.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm. And that's my Nintendo predictions.
I'm going to predict Nintendo keeps their partial focus on the 3DS going throughout the entirety of 2019, and it sells steadily throughout the year. I don't think they're going to announce major titles. Some third-party stuff will come out, like Persona Q2 and stuff like that. But I think it's mostly going to keep alive because it's very reasonably priced. And I think they're going to try and milk that as long as they can. Mm-hmm. But I think you're also right. I think they're going to try and downplay it as 2019 goes on. We're sort of like, 3DS is still out here, that's cool, but yeah, the Switch! Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, the redesigned Switch does come out, but I agree with you. I think it's the same thing. I think the only thing that's going to be different is they're going to shrink the bezel on the handheld part, so the screen will go further out to the edges. The bezel is fairly meaty as it is right now.
Yeah.
I think they stretch out that bezel so it's like a quote-unquote larger screen by like half an inch. And it probably has a little bit better battery life. And that's probably
I should hope so.
Yeah. But I don't think they're going to drop the price. I think they then drop the old Switch by like $20, and the new Switch is your full price thing.
Yeah, no, if anything, they'll blow that out on on a big sale.
Yeah.
Like, it's the summer sale blowout. The Switch is now $150. Take my old stock.
Your
now.
Switch Classic is available right now.
Yeah, just it wouldn't surprise me if they threw out a bunch of sales just to wipe out as much stock as they could before the new version comes in.
I don't think they're going to have any major reveals at E3. I think most of their major franchises just came out in 2018, or they're kind of a few years off. Like, I don't expect them to come out with like a new Mario, a new Zelda, anything like that. I don't think we're going to see Metroid this year either. If we do, we'll see like a 1-minute gameplay trailer. But I really think this is the year of their sort of second-tier games, if anything.
Yeah, let's get those indies.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Switch continues to be an indie powerhouse, but that starts to become a major problem in 2019. Nintendo won't work on curating the store at all, so it'll turn into what Steam looks like nowadays.
Yep.
Nintendo's having a real curation problem already, and they don't seem concerned about it, at least externally.
Yeah.
And I think they need to fix curation, fix discoverability, or start shutting stuff out. Like, start implementing some sort of quality control. I don't want to say, like, obviously there are going to be hidden gem indie games coming out every once in a while that just look like trash, but they're really great. I don't want that stuff to not come to the Switch. But at some point, you can't have, like, absolute shovelware just coming out on Switch. So
I don't know about that. Have you seen the Nintendo Wii library?
Yeah, but at least someone had to press that on a disc. There was a little bit more effort expended on that one.
True.
All right, let's talk about community predictions. Musum comes up first by saying new Zelda in 2019. I would love that.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen, but I would love it. There's his N64 classic prediction right there.
Yeah. New iteration of the Switch announced. I think that's probably pretty safe. And new Switch controllers available to purchase for old version of Switch. So it sounds like he's saying the new Switch will come out with new Joy-Cons of some sort. Maybe they'll have some of the. They'll be less likely to have issues like the original ones.
Issue, yeah. Well, they'll be compatible with the old version.
Right, you just click them right on your old Switch. That definitely sounds like something Microsoft or Nintendo would do, as opposed to some of the other hardware manufacturers. Was like, oh, the old one, yeah, those don't work. Sorry.
Yeah.
T-Bomb Rocks predicts Super NES titles come to the Nintendo Online service. That'd be nice. Yeah. Nintendo announces a Summer of Nindies type event. That would be really good. It'd be nice to have that sort of maybe 2 times a year. And Nintendo shows another revision of the 2DS/3DS. That would be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, what are they going to do? But that's it. I mean, if they do that, they're going to go, it's going to be called the 2D Switch or something like that. They're not going to call it
do like a half step. Yeah. Bearded Lady predicts a Switch in the Moonpier household with an exclamation mark. That'd be nice.
Yep.
Like that.
Tropico 6, anybody?
Yeah, there you Servo predicts Nintendo 64 Classic. There you go.
There we go.
Switch 1.5 with better battery but lower screen quality. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And Nintendo as Nintendo. I left that on there. I just wanted to say it.
Yeah.
Gibinator predicts Pokemon Gen 8 announced and released by year's end. That'd be really interesting. Like a brand new, full, new generation Pokemon game.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Let's Go Pokemon name here seems like it's doing really, really well. And people seem to love a lot. Like, I'm getting mixed messages between the hardcore JRPG fans who are like, no, you're not doing it right, and the Pokemon fans who are like, no, this is great and fun. It's like,
yeah, you remade the first Pokemon game. Like, I'm not mad at you. That's great.
And they did a whole bunch of like tweaking to it. It would be interesting to see. Number one, have they got another 150 Pokemon in them at this point?
God, yeah.
And number two, would they use the Let's Go setup, or would they do the old school, or even give you the option of both?
Right. Bandai Namco goes all in on the Switch, announces Xenosaga HD Collection as a Switch exclusive. God, if only.
Yeah.
2 was not a great game, so I never finished it, and 3 apparently was fantastic. Someday I'll get back to a PS2 series.
Yeah, I say that about my current library, dude.
Yes, yeah. Skyward Sword HD announced. Somehow they managed to make the control scheme work this time around. I would love to play Skyward Sword HD. That's like one of the few Zelda games I've never played.
Because it was hot garbage with bad motion controls?
Yep. You got it in one. Yeah. The Hannah predicts Switch hardware revision formally announced. New Zelda game teased. I feel like that's probably a lot more likely of like, oh man, there's a new Zelda, on the horizon, and then, Link on Epona's, and then coming 2022.
Yeah, I mean, the things they did with Breath of the Wild is insane.
Yeah.
So let's hope they give that team another game.
Yeah.
It's something I always loved about the Mario games, was like, they were like, okay, here's a young up-and-coming dev team. We're going to give you the Mario IP. Now go do something crazy with it. Yep. And from that, we got Super Mario Galaxy, one of the greatest Mario games of all time.
So good.
And they did the same thing with Zelda, and we get Breath of the Wild, highly regarded as one of the greatest Zelda games of all time.
Also so good. Man. Hannah's last prediction here is Switch Online gets more classic games, Super NES, Game Boy Advance, etc.
Yeah, OG Tetris or nothing. Game Boy Tetris or nothing.
Yeah, the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maximus Prime predicts they will release a Switch version 2, whatever they decide to call it. It will have a brighter, slightly larger screen and better battery life, but that's about it. Nintendo will totally dive bomb in regards to games released from first-party studios, but will have some great third-party early this gen and a few last-gen games released on the platform to fill the void. Yeah, that'd be nice to sort of pick up the slack with some really good third-party stuff.
Yeah.
And he wraps out by saying the Vitality sensor is back. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, they will officially end production of 3DS.
Honestly, the wildest move they could make is make a Joy-Con that's a Vitality sensor. Like, yeah. Take all of the ideas behind the Vitality sensor and put it on the back of a Joy-Con that you hold while you're playing.
Where your fingers go.
Mm-hmm. Like, tech has evolved at this point. Give me a Resident Evil game where the things jump out based on how scared I am.
Oh, God. I would have the hardest version of that game.
Yes, you would.
Late Elf predicts implosion. I don't know what that means. It just wrote down implosion. I like it though. I mean,
yeah,
maybe
Nintendo are going to take some lessons from Sony. We'll see.
Yeah, just stick all their feet in their mouth.
Yep.
More Labo-like releases. I feel like that's probably fair. I almost feel like they'll come out with maybe one new Labo package in 2019.
Honestly, I wouldn't surprise me if they did one a quarter. Like,
with how cheap they are.
Yeah, cheap to produce. It's a bunch of cardboard.
Yep.
And you can theme it. Like the Spring Labo is, maybe a little mini game about camping and catching butterflies.
Sure.
Like the summer one is like a Frisbee Labo or something. Like, have it themed around different times of the year.
That'd be cool. Yeah. And still no Waluigi love.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the biggest disappointment for Nintendo right now is no love for the W. Like, did they not understand?
Love for the Y?
Yeah, no love. Well, they have love for the Wario, just not for the Luigi.
That's
and they need to understand that the W is winning. So give me more Ws, ideally with a purple background. Thank you very much.
Give me that lanky weirdo.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of the best platformers, like platformer/action games, was the Wario games. Like, they were insanely good.
Wario Land games. Wario Land 4 is an incredible platformer. Man.
And they have. When was the last time they announced a Wario Land game?
I think 4, and that was on. No, Wario Land Shake It was on the Wii or
Shake
the Wii U?
It does not count.
Okay, so Wario Land 4 on the Game Boy Advance.
How about this? They love remaking all of the Super Mario, the old Super Mario Brothers game, the new Super Mario Brothers, the new Super Mario Brothers U, and so on and so forth. Give me a Super Wario Brothers and have Wario and Luigi in a new Super Mario Brothers style game.
There you go. Or just remake, have them be in the next sequel of the Mario and Luigi RPG games.
Yeah.
Wario and Waluigi. Yeah. Real Name wraps up our predictions here by saying new Switch hardware and new Metroid game.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people are going to be scooping up some easy points if some of that stuff happens next year.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about... We're halfway done. Whew. Oh, boy. All right, stretch a little bit. All right, stretch out those legs. All right. Sony 2018, let's start out with Knobs, says Sony will make a huge VR push. I feel like they didn't, but a lot of good VR games came out.
Yes.
Yeah. Sort of maybe in spite of Sony.
Yes.
Yeah. And rumor of the PS5 announcements are this year, possible November release. They've been... Every time people ask them about PS5, they're like, no, man. We're good.
But they're the rumors are still out and about there, so I think that's a half.
I mean, the rumors always start as soon as a console comes out. You know, someone asks Sony, they'd be like, hey man, the PS5 just came out. Are you guys working on the PS6? And they're like, well, yeah, of course. They're like, Sony already working. It's just like, oh my God. Of course they are.
Workflow operates.
Yeah. Goodness. You predicted Sony keeps up the Sony attitude. Get about 10 points for that one.
Swing and a swish.
Yeah. And they release/announce at least 8 character action games, single-player experiences, and everyone gets fed up with it.
Yeah, let's just not even go through the list. Just mark out off as no points.
Well, I mean, no points for non-participation at E3 2018, virtually.
Yeah. I mean,
and a couple of good songs, though.
So they announce at least 8. So we've got Spider-Man, God of War, that's 2 down the things.
Yep.
We've got the amazing-looking Japanese...
Tsushima something.
Yes, whatever that thing is. So it's 3 at least, and I've not got the best memory when it comes to this kind of stuff. So it's probably a point, but just give no points. Let's not even go through the list.
I predicted Sony doesn't make PS4 Pro enhancements mandatory for releases. Support for the hardware wanes over 2018.
Yes,
I feel like with the same thing with the X, it's sort of like if we can get our game to there, we'll put HDR in, we'll put the 4K support, but it's sort of a matter of course, just like on the Xbox One. You want to sell games, people want 4K and HDR games. So you're going to make them.
Yep.
So Sony starts a game download subscription service like Microsoft's Game Pass, but unfortunately it's way too much money per month.
Hey, guess what? It's called PlayStation Now. They changed it to a download service, and it's still way too much money a month.
Ding, ding, ding.
Give yourself some points.
Yeah. PSVR languishes all year until support has nearly vanished by year's end. Boy, if it wasn't for Moss, Astrobot, and Tetris Effect, and what was it?
Beat Saber.
Yeah, Beat Saber. That's the one I forgot. If it wasn't for those 4 games, this last half of the year would have been pretty quiet. But Yeah, they and Musum just picked up via PSVR. He says actually the Zone of the Ender's second runner VR is actually really good and not nausea-inducing.
No. Go away, Musum. Stop talking about that. Thank you very much.
You siren.
Yes.
Sony formally announces cross-platform play. Oh, me. They did through gritted teeth like, Fortnite will be cross-platform.
We'll see about everything else.
Yeah, I don't want to. We did Fortnite, now everyone forget about it and go back to sleep.
Yeah. Here is Fortnite crossplay. Now take this retcon. Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. That's a hardcore Torchwood reference that nobody probably got except for me.
Yeah. All right, community predictions. T-Bomb rocks. With the success of PUBG on Xbox, Sony will drop its early access stance. We had lofty expectations for the more positive Sony in 2017.
That's because in 2017 we were shown the positive of Sony.
I know.
And in 2018 we were shown the negative. I'm looking forward to seeing these predictions.
The real Jekyll and Hyde switch happened.
Yes.
The next Devil May Cry game will be exclusive to PS4. Oddly enough, the demo was exclusive to Xbox One. Yep. I feel like that was a solid prediction in 2017, though. I feel like that one was like, yeah, sure. I mean, of course it's only going to come on PS4.
Yep. That wouldn't have surprised me either.
There's another Japanese game that's going multi-platform. There you go. Yep. The Last of Us 2 will review better than average, but be divisive because of the content.
It's not out yet, is it?
No, surprisingly slipped into 2019. But 2018 was a big enough year for them anyway, so they didn't really need it this year.
Yeah.
The Hannah predicts PS4 Pro support continues to be middling at best. I'd say it's been better than that because, like we said with the X, it's the de facto standard. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but all of you rubes like you, Boston, you seem to... You with your OG launch consoles are second-hand citizens at this point where nobody seems to really care how you feel.
Yeah. Like my launch day, launch edition Xbox One console is distant memory for a lot of people. Yeah. PSVR gets a price cut and some mainstream press for being the first affordable VR experience. That huge price cut they got for Black Friday sold so many units, but I think they got a price cut very early this year, if I remember correctly. I think they chopped off like $50.
And like the thing seems to be doing well, but still no mainstream press because the mainstream press have already given up on VR at this point.
Yeah, I'll give it half a point for that one. Where are we? Sony ritually sacrifices a Vita on stage at E3. Fan sites still ask, is the Vita really dead in the following days?
Well,
I think Sony sacrificed themselves on stage at E3.
Yeah, and then metaphorically they did also sacrifice the Vita by not even bringing up its name again.
Yeah. Yeah, this it's on borrowed time for I mean they extended the deadline for producing games a little bit longer, but it's not gonna happen.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel really bad for the interactive novel producers.
Oh, visual novels, yeah,
because the Vita is their home now. Like that is their home.
They're doing really well on Switch.
Good. Good that they've found another home at least.
Jess, aka Mrs. Moonpier. Let me just clear my throat for this one. We still won't own one.
Ha! So that was wrong on two fronts.
Right.
Because, number one, I was going to get one this year from Mrs. Moonpier. Right. And number two, I was instead gifted one by a generous member of the community. Thank you again, whoever you are.
Yes. Thank you to the anonymous PS4 donor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, big.
That's good. That was a shoe-in for this year, but
nil pois.
12 months is a long time. Corey predicts Sony revives Siphon Filter for PS4.
Oh.
Not yet. I feel like I feel like they keep reaching further and further in the bag. Where it's like Crash Team Racing, Medieval, And it's sort of like, next is Siphon Filter. Not a series I have any fondness for, but...
I need my Gabe back. Give me my
get those
Gabe
weird
Siphon
wiggly
Filter.
hips.
Yes, the weird wiggly hips and the taser that sets people on fire.
Yeah.
That was my jam, and then...
Just make that a mini game in something else, and everyone will be happy.
The funny thing is like the evolution of that genre of game is one of the reasons I love games, and the two big names in that type of game don't exist anymore. Siphon Filter, Splinter Cell. Where have they gone?
Hitman. That's where they went.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Thankfully, at least. Where are we? PS4 Pro finally gets system-wide downsampling for 1080p HD TV owners. Yes.
I did not know if it did or not.
Is this score? Yes. 1 point. Sony finally allows crossplay in 2018.
Nope.
Sorry. No. Musin predicts Sony starts annually upgrading the hardware of their $400 price point PS4, but don't match the Xbox One X in 2018. No. Because I feel like it's tough because they haven't matched the power of the X for obvious reasons, but they haven't been upgrading the Pro. Yeah, sorry, Musin. God of War is actually good, but little to nothing like a God of War game.
I haven't played the previous game, so you can tell me.
It is actually good. It was actually really good. Little to nothing like a God of War game. I mean,
okay, let's run through the God of War, the old God of War tropes.
Sure.
Giant bosses.
Got
check. Combat action game, really tight.
Got him.
Yeah, it's slowed down a lot from what I've seen. The combat has very, very slowed down comparatively, but it's still there. Kratos is angry.
Yeah, a little more simmering instead of yelling this time, but he's still angry.
Definitely simmering. And he has cool weapons.
Yeah, 4 out of 4. Yeah, I give him a half a point. Yeah, 1/2. Sony. No, wait. Where are we? Oh yeah, Sony starts allowing cross-platform play on certain games.
So game is that counts?
Yeah, certain game.
Yes,
the largest game. Matt from Oz says at least 2 more trailers for Death Stranding with no release date in sight. That's a big old one. PS4 Pro Plus announced will be the most powerful console ever, at least until Microsoft one-ups them within 12 months. Yeah, I think I'm happy that we've avoided the arms race between the two of them. I think they both sort of said, like, let's not get crazy. 2 of them is good enough for right now.
Yeah.
You can release something lower, but not something higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. God of War, Dreams, Detroit, and Days Gone all disappoint, but won't be terrible. 70 to 80 Metacritic. So God of War came out and is winning Game of the Year at a number of places. Dreams didn't come out. Detroit is a garbage fire, and Days Gone didn't come out.
Yep. So half a point? No, quarter of a point?
Yeah, sadly we don't go under half because I'm not that great at fraction math. Gabeinator predicts PlayStation Now gets officially phased out. Man, if only.
Evolved instead.
Yeah. Surprise reveal of a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Sadly not.
Oh boy.
Please.
Yep.
Please. And the VR machine keeps chugging along in the background. I think that's a point.
That's a check.
Yeah. I think that's the best way of saying it is like it's chugging along in the background. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out that's good, but if you don't have the hardware and you don't care about it, it's just like white noise at a concert.
Yeah.
Maximus Prime said Sony will dominate the first half of the year with great exclusives like God of War and Spider-Man. When did God of War come out? I feel like this is a half a point because both of those sort of... God of War was first of the year.
It was like March or something, wasn't it, this year?
Okay, so yeah. I'll give them one. Give them a point. They will announce PSVR 2 at E3 with a thud, and Games Media wonders where the PS5 announcement was. I mean, their whole press conference was a thud, so...
Yeah. And Games Media wondered where the press conference was.
That's right. And lastly, despite a strong start, Sony ends 2018 in third place in annual sales and mindshare due to poor release timing, a much stronger competitor on the rise, and a misplaced focus on VR.
I'd say a half a point for that because they're not number 3, I don't believe.
No.
That sadly still falls on Microsoft. But
yeah, I think they're both on the edge, though. Like,
yeah. And I think mindshare wise, they are definitely bottom of the barrel right now.
Yeah, that's 2018 has not been kind to Sony because Sony has not been kind to 2018.
That's probably the most succinct way of putting that in.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about maybe, hopefully, a brand new, much sunnier year for Sony in 2019. Moon, let's start with your predictions.
Okay, so you can always tell. I honestly, I think going back and listening to these episodes over the past couple of years would actually be kind of funny to hear the ebbs and flows of positivity and negativity towards different companies.
Right.
So PlayStation, this year they announced a community event towards the end of the year, kind of like their PlayStation Fan Experience or whatever it's called. They will announce that in lieu of going to E3. So they're going to do their big fan event or whatever. At that, I think they do announce a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
I don't think they go hardcore in the spec. I don't think they do a PlayStation 4 announcement where they do a deep dive into so many different features of it.
Right.
I just think they announce, yes, we are working on a PlayStation 5. It's currently slated for 2021.
Right. And they tout out like most powerful, biggest whatevers, the big superlatives.
Yeah, well, I think by I think it's more of a panic announcement of we need to announce something.
Right.
And I think that by doing so without a full breadth of information, like what are the specs, what is it going to run, is it going to be backwards compatible, I think they just do a general announcement.
Yeah.
And I think it hurts them in the long run. Whereas maybe in 2019, my prediction for Microsoft might end up being for 2020, they announce their next console, but they go in and do the deep dive. You'll like this one because we're going to have fun trying to decipher this one.
Okay.
Sony gonna Sony.
Okay.
At least 3 times.
Aha. Yes. Okay. So
there we go.
I'll have to write some notes in this in the sealed envelope for this time next year. But yeah, I feel like that's probably a pretty safe bet.
So by that, of course, for anybody listening who doesn't understand that reference, by that I mean Sony are going to come out and say something along the lines of, no, we don't feel like cross-platform play is good for everybody, as we have the PlayStation, and that is the premier way to experience all games.
Right. They're going to say something that's like so totally tone-deaf and arrogant at the same time. That's just like, Sony.
Yep. I expect at least 3 of them from them this year, or 2019, because I'm pretty sure they've maybe done it like 5 times this year.
2018 has been a year for Sony being Sony.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they announce, despite the colossal failure that is the PlayStation 1 Classic, a PlayStation 2 Classic.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And it suffers the exact same fate as the PlayStation 1 Classic.
I was waiting for that.
Which is they make the wrongest decisions.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't care about fighting games, I don't care the Battle Arena Toshinden is in the UK version and not the American version, because I wouldn't be able to tell the difference anyway. But when you're aping to people's nostalgia, you are dealing with people who will know what they are talking about.
Right.
And I'm expecting a PlayStation 2 Classic announcement with a lack of good games. So maybe you get your... Maybe they release FIFA 12 for the game, for the console, and the Egg JRPG that I loved so much, which is all about raising monsters.
Yep.
But they make the wrong decision again in regards to what games they put out on the thing.
Or it's like full of games that already have HD remasters that are good. Where it's like Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, and it's like, no, but I got those over here.
The lead game will be the Bouncer,
Exactly. The Bouncer and Automodelista.
There we go.
Yeah.
And they do announce with the PlayStation 5, they do announce PSVR 2. which is also part of my Sony on a Sony prediction. Not backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4. None of the components are going to carry forwards. It's going to be all new equipment, and it's going to be all... Basically, it's not going to travel backwards, it's only going to travel forwards.
Taking advantage of the pure power the PlayStation 5 platform has to offer, ...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, there's my Sonys.
I'm predicting that Sony still misses E3. I don't think they have a last minute, like, no, wait, don't close the door, I'm coming in. But I think they have a video showcase at that time they release on, YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff.
A Sony Direct, if you will.
No, I think it's going to be is like an hour of just trailers smushed together with like no Sean Layton introducing it, no nothing. It's just like trailer after trailer, and everyone's like, okay, cool. What did I just watch? Like, there's no real info around it. It's just like, Sony 2018 trailer showcase. I was like, okay.
Yeah, the type of thing that they'll put up and it'll be like, that would be really good if you did that on a stage with some breakups between each trailer and a little chatty section.
Like anything at all. Sony whispers or / accidentally leaks have some... they do some of that around the PS5 to gauge interest. It's a lot of putting feelers out, but it doesn't come out in 2019. I don't think. I think beyond whispering and leaks, I think that's all they do in 2019. Sony struggles overall in 2019 due to few must-have exclusives, and the ones that come out are poorly reviewed / sell poorly. This may happen probably unfairly because Sony's 2018 games were received so well. So, like, fine, okay games come out in 2019, but it's a lot of, like, well, 2018 had God of War and Spider-Man and, like, all these other games. It's like, we have Days Gone. Meh. Like...
And the weird Rose game with the swords, which looks so cool.
Yeah, and I think 2019 from exclusives, I think you're going to see the pendulum swing the other way, where it's sort of coming back into the positive for Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I think, lastly, it's going to be a quiet year for Sony all around, which isn't what they need. I think between lackluster first-party exclusives, no E3, and them canceling the fan thing at E3, I agree with you. I think they'll have a PSX for fans later in the year, but they obviously haven't announced it yet. I think it's going to be a real quiet year for Sony, and I think that quietness is going to fuel a lot of Sony being Sony during the year, where people would be like,
yes,
you're sort of having a quiet year, and they're like, how dare you? And like Sony just explodes.
Yeah, like, what have you got, Sony? Come on, tell us what you got. Where's the PlayStation 5? It's like, I think you'll find that we have the premier experience in the PlayStation 4 Pro with PlayStation VR.
What about PS Now? Are you guys playing PS Now? Yeah. Let's go into community. Musim predicts PS5 announced for 2020. I think that's probably the earliest it's going to come out. 2019 would be a surprise for a brand new, like, hardware leap, I think. New iteration of VR coming with PS5, taking advantage of the power of the platform. No other games get cross-platform support. Man, I feel like that's going to be a guaranteed point. I feel it.
Yeah, unless something else as big as Fortnite can come along and start kicking down the doors.
Yeah, only other thing I can think of is Rocket League.
Rocket League have tried, and Rocket League they've come out and reached out to Sony to try and get something done.
Yeah,
they still can't do it.
Someday maybe. T-Bomb Rocks predicts the PS5 is not officially shown in 2019. Sony is still supporting the PSVR with exclusive titles. They are breaking the trend of leaving new tech out to die. That's a really great way to put it. And another Ratchet and Clank game is announced. Please.
Yeah,
I need it.
Isn't Ratchet and Clank, is that Naughty Dog?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because it was Ratchet and Clank was Naughty Dog and Jak and Daxter was Insomniac.
Correct. Yeah.
Microsoft, buy that studio.
There you go. You can put out another Jak and Daxter game.
Batch it and rank, just in case Sony owned the copyrights.
It's just a large robot and a small marmot. They just reverse it.
Yep.
Servo says name change beta goes bad, remains a delayed mess. I feel like I can give you a point now.
Yeah.
Quiet year with another PSX cancellation.
Mm-hmm. Possible.
PS Pro price drop and focus on one SKU. That's interesting.
Really interesting, yeah. If they go the opposite direction, because we know Microsoft are going to come out with SKUs aplenty.
Yep.
So if Sony go the other direction, it'd be really interesting to see. The only problem is if they go that direction, they need the most powerful console as their thing. Like that's
the
what
Pro
they
Plus
need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Gibionator predicts Sony announces that PS5 is in development. No specs, no price, no release window, just an official announcement. So I think he's saying what you're saying, where it's like, oh, we're hard at work on the PS5 and you'll get more info soon.
Here's a logo on this sign above me. That
just has a 5 after it, yeah. They just take the Grand Theft Auto 5V and just paste it right on there.
Yep.
This is the year we will finally learn something about Death Stranding. You're funny. I don't think. The game's even come out, and I won't know anything about it.
We've already learned plenty about Death Stranding. It's made by Kojima.
Right. A lot of walking.
There's a lot of walking. It's got the guy from The Walking Dead in it.
Yep. He's carrying something. The baby does the little thing with its thumb.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we know. So, I mean, why haven't you pre-ordered?
What more do you need?
Yeah, what else do you need? The PSN PlayStation Network breaks beyond repair under the strain of crossplay, forcing Sony to build their online architecture from the ground up.
You know what? The worst thing is, I would actually love to see that happen.
I feel like that's one of the more out there predictions that's plausible.
Yes, because let's face it. They've got to be holding back on this whole crossplay thing. Number one, because they are so egotistical. Yes. And number two, because they have got to be concerned that their network can't handle it.
Yeah, they put the toe in with Fortnite and they're like, okay, nothing exploded? All right, let's give it a couple of months. Everybody be cool. Don't look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe we'll do something else. Yeah. The Hannah predicts new console formally announced. PSVR revision / upgrade released. And PSN name change is a catastrophic nightmare and causes major issues on PSN. I think we're seeing a through line here of our predictions.
Do you remember when I said about the whole negativity towards a specific person or a specific company?
I can't wait until PSN blows up and Sony's like, well, you idiots wanted this. And be like, oh yeah. No. Oh, Sony.
Sony gonna Sony? Check.
Yep.
One off the list.
1 out of 3. Maximus Prime says they will announce the PlayStation 5 and it will be received with a very mixed reception. Not as bad as the PlayStation 3, but nothing close to the positive reception of the PS4. With the beginning of the end of PlayStation dominance will begin to show its ugly head.
Honestly, I can't wait to see which Sony reveals that console.
Is it Jekyll? Is it Hyde?
Not even just that, but which company of Sony?
Yeah, which branch of it?
Because as much as I love them, it's not going to be the European Sony at this point. It's going to be Japan and it's going to be America. It feels like an argument between those two as to who is going to reveal it. Because Europe were the bomb when it came to announcing the PlayStation 4, and they handled it well. They were responsible for developing that thing, putting it all together and making it an incredible piece of work. And now it just feels like it's an argument between Japan and America. As
Mom said it's my turn to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Days Gone will totally bomb, and The Last of Us 2 will hit record numbers, being one of the highest rated games on the PS4, and the name change will break thousands of PS4s, and they'll finally pull the plug on the name change plans until PS5. A lot of predictions all in one, but probably.
Yeah.
Dreams will finally be released and well received by critics, while it'll sell poorly and be enjoyed for hundreds of hours by my children and wife.
Yep. I could very much see that being a Fortnite where a bunch of people who wouldn't refer to themselves as gamers despite the fact that they are obsessed with Fortnite. I could feel like Dreams could hit that crowd again, where it's like, it's fun. It's like, not gonna lie, seeing Jeff Gersman mess around with the painting stuff on the OG VR launch video, it's like, I really want VR just so I can mess with the painting stuff.
Yeah, I just want to chill out and draw some horrible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Late Elf predicts PS Classic soft mod by February, hard mod by April, May. Probably.
Yeah. I would honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if hard mod by December 25th.
Yeah, exactly. Sony sues Soulja Boy on basis of his AliExpress handheld trademark violations. I feel like we're going to have a really hard time remembering exactly what this dumpster fire is next year.
Uh-huh.
But it might be really fun reading that out and being like, what are all of these words together?
Yep.
Yeah. And PSVR Tetris ships with microdosage of hallucinogens. Somebody thinks it's just a new Luminous.
That, you know what? If there's a game that I'd love to get a little extracurricular with and then experience in VR, that might be number one.
Yeah. Real chill. Real Name predicts tease or announced new hardware, new Ridge Racer game, which I would really love.
Mm-hmm.
And Horizon Zero Dawn 2 coming in 2022. Too late. I want that in like next year.
Yeah, that needs to. Ridge Racer might be a good shout. It's one of the few franchises they haven't milked to death at this point, despite their trying. But Horizon Zero Dawn, I think 2022 is a good shout for it coming out. I would like to see it sooner.
I feel like that's a late era PS4 game, not a PS5 launch game.
The Last of Us.
Yeah, exactly. And like God of War 1 and 2 for the PS2, you know, like these big games that come out at the sort of the last minute.
Yeah.
All right, last category here, general/overall industry stuff for 2018. Knobs predicted that Unreal Tournament 4 comes out of alpha. Boy, unfortunately, they just announced they're no longer working on it.
Yep.
So, that sucks. That just sucks.
Who makes Unreal again?
Epic. Oh, wait, that's right.
There we go.
They have FU money with Fortnite.
Yep. They have enough money to legitimately pose a threat to Steam as a storefront now.
Right. They have Valve money now.
Yeah.
They have a Team Fortress 2 hat money. So, VR has a great year. I think VR had a solid year. It's not living the high life, and it's not dead. I think it's doing well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think both on PS4 and PC, I think it's solid.
Yeah, it's kind of maintained.
We get a whole lot more of a year of complaining about loot crates.
Oh boy,
Shucks, howdy did we.
Yep.
You know? And pirates aren't in this year. Skull and Bones didn't come out this year, so no.
Nope, that's next year. Sea of Thieves is the only kind of pirate thing that came out this year.
Yeah.
So that's
not that gritty pirates thing you want.
No.
Moon, you predicted EA keeps going with loot boxes.
Yep.
Wow, yeah.
Oh boy, did everybody else join in at the same time as well.
Yeah, your next prediction was Ubisoft tries to go for loot boxes.
When did For Honor come out?
That was... was that last year? For Honor has had a really tough time.
Yeah.
But they did do that for... no, that was Weeby for... Shadows of Mordor. I was thinking they tried to do it in Assassin's Creed Origins, and everyone's like, it doesn't really matter, and they were like, yeah,
and they did it for Odyssey again, and it really doesn't matter in that again either.
I don't even know if I found them in Odyssey.
It's the blue stupid gem things.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, you can. To give you an idea of how obfuscated it is, you hit the start menu and then you hit right on the D-pad to go to the real money store. It's so obfuscated that it's basically not even there. Yeah. So they have done it. And I'm sorry, Rainbow Six Siege has loot crates in it, except they're alpha packs. So
yeah. And indie games become the triple B space, the good but not great sector.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think indie games had a really great year this year.
Yes, they definitely did.
But I feel like John Q. Street Fighter fan still not there yet to pick up an indie game they're still playing the big AAA games. They're still playing Fortnite, but not like picking up Celeste, Into the Breach, some of that stuff.
They should really pick up Celeste.
Yeah, Celeste is really good. I wrote crazy prediction: a new Half-Life game will be announced. No, the Half-Life 3 story summary got published.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a Half-Life 3 game jam that was really good. But,
and Valve did the press conference at CES this year on the third day of CES in Room 3 at 3 p.m.
Right.
And then just announced something to do with Steam. So Valve gonna Valve, I guess.
Yeah. Gonna be the good trolls. I said a VR headset that contains the PC in the headset gets released.
Is
Not
that Magic
yet?
Leap?
No, like I'm thinking of like an all-in-one. I don't think they're coming out for a couple months.
There's definitely one out now. I don't know if it's available for everyone to use, but I'm pretty sure there is a headset out now, which is
Project Leap is only available for devs. So
yes,
not
and
really.
I know there is another one which is scans outwards instead of at you, which I think that's Project Leap as well.
Yeah,
It's definitely on the horizon, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, and like one or two companies have some announced for next year, but nothing 2018. And is this 2018's predictions? Yes. I said we get legislation around loot boxes, it goes real bad.
Again, we're gonna get there real soon.
Yeah. Community T-Bomb Rock says a Grandia HD collection will be announced.
I wish.
Did, actually. That's coming out in a couple of months.
For PlayStation 4?
I don't know. I know it's coming out for Switch for sure.
Shocker.
I think it's coming out for all three. I don't remember.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How many hours do I have?
Yeah, God, those games are so good. The increase in sales of the One X and PS4 Pro will drive graphics cards to take a $100 or more price cut. No. 2018 was crazy.
Yes. 2018 was the year of the Bitcoin.
Yeah, the continued year of Bitcoin, sadly. Streaming games to your phone or tablet will become a viable option.
Kind of.
We're like right there with Project Stream and some of the stuff Microsoft's talking about, but just a lot of these companies are very clearly, Ubisoft has said they want to do that too. A lot of these companies are saying like, yeah, we want to do that. Like it's coming, just not right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I think if I haven't checked it on my tablet, I know I can't do it on my phone, but I can stream my Xbox X downstairs to my PC, no problem at all. So if I can do that, then hopefully I can do it to my tablet and then I can play games in my sleep.
Yeah. Ubisoft will create an EA Access type of service for consoles and PC.
Getting there. I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like that's an anytime now announcement.
Yeah.
Moonpier will have convinced Knobs to buy a pair of Astro A50s.
Nope.
No convincing that. Astro A50s are great though. I wish I had the money and the storage space to put it, because man, those are great.
Let me tell you all about how mine sits on the little Astro A50 stand right behind my TV where I can't see it, and then I just pull it off the stand and use it when I need to.
Perfect. So good. The Hannah says the U.S. government will attempt to intervene in video games via the loot box issue. It goes ... poorly.
Soon.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Not yet. Soon, TM.
Yes.
The creation of an alternative to the ESA will be discussed, is embraced by indie devs. No, surprisingly, I feel like the ESA continues to not make friends year over year, and it's getting worse and worse. But no one's there yet.
I think also, I realize that this is going to sound poor, probably. I think indie devs being small teams as well, they're not multi-billion companies or multi-million companies, so they don't have the need for somebody, because the ESA exists to go to court and fight legislative battles
and lobby and all that
and for the video game companies. And I think what people seem to be learning is lobbying for something is generally it's not good these days.
Yeah.
Like when you hear people talk about lobbyists, it's never about saving the planet lobbyists.
Our favorite heroes, the lobbyists.
Who want
apologies if you're a lobbyist, sorry.
Yes, apologies, unless you're a lobbyist for one of those nasty companies, and you are. Yeah,
go to hell.
But let's face it, most lobbyists are there for very specific goals, which indie developers, I feel, can't. They wouldn't necessarily agree what's best for everybody.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's an idea, but I think it needs to be an organization that's not about lobbying and going to fight those legal battles.
Yeah. Documents leak proving that either Sony or Microsoft are working on Switch-like version of their consoles. This is more of a wish. Come on, Sony.
Sony, potentially.
Sony, maybe. Yeah, there's been some
whispers in the halls.
Factory whispers. Yeah. It's my hardcore metal band name, Factory Whispers. Lord Kalmar predicts gamers and games media will stop caring about shrinking battle arena games, aka PUBG. Yeah, sorry, past Lord Kalmar, it got worse.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people that's like, I can't believe people love Fortnite. Whatever. If people are playing games. That's what I'm happy about. No AAA will make as big of a microtransaction mistake as EA, but we will continue down the slippery slope.
That's pretty spot on, because everybody's still putting them in there, but they seem to have slowly but surely not made them as obvious, shall we say?
Yeah, EA continues to have naked greed, where a lot of other companies are sort of like, hey man, if you just give me a little bit of the money, come on. Like Activision wasn't great in 2018, but none of it was just as bold as EA has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jess, aka Mrs. Moonpier, Remedy will finally announce their new project. Fingers crossed, Alan Wake 2.
They did.
Not Alan Wake 2, but they did. Yeah. At one point there, that was Twin Mirror, right?
Control.
Okay, Twin Mirror is the other company I really like. I don't remember. Far Cry 5 will cause a lot of anger. Man, did that thing land with just a wet fart noise?
I think the thing is I think the anger hit before that game came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and people forgot about it.
Yeah, and then by the time the anger settles down, nobody cares anymore.
Yeah. Corey says, excuse me, at some point in 2018, specs for PS5 and Xbox 4 get leaked? Shockingly, no. Bethesda announces Doom 2 at E3 2018 and steals the show. They did announce it. I feel like that wasn't really the steal of the show, because they didn't show a ton.
Yeah. Twin Mirror, by the way, is by Don't Nod.
Don't Nod, yes, thank you. Perfect. Another company I really like. Crackdown 3 won't suck. Don't know yet.
We don't know.
Remedy announces new IP for both PS4 and Xbox One.
Nailed it.
Musum, Atlas gets sold to literally anyone besides Sega. Shockingly, no. Still with Sega.
Speaking of Japanese developers that Xbox or Microsoft need to go and possibly look at.
Microsoft, throw cash at them for Persona 5. Get Persona 5 on Xbox One.
Yeah, just throw cash at them. It doesn't even matter. Just put it out on everything.
Yeah. All three of the BattleTech games released to critical success. I think one of them came out this year, and it was a critical success.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. EA becomes its final form, a loot box. Maybe next year. Close.
Yeah.
The lid is closing on the box.
Come on, it's not going to be a loot box. We all know it's going to end. It's going to revert to its final form, which is its original form, which is an Ultimate Team pack. It's not a box, it's a pack.
Yes. Yeah, followed by a pin pack.
Yes.
Square introduces subscription service that includes a large chunk of their Super NES library playable on modern consoles. No, but once that we'll get there, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got the single player is dead articles again this year. Next year, we're going to get the JRPG suck articles again. Shockingly, this year was single player games are back. Yeah, God of War and Spider-Man and all these other ones.
Yep, this year it seems to have turned to Battle Royale games and single player games, and that's the only two games that seem to have existed this year.
Yeah, both ends of the spectrum. Matt from Oz says, excuse me, Bethesda/ZeniMax get into publishing multiplayer games or live service games because there ain't no money in single player unless it's still Elder Scrolls or Fallout.
Yeah, let's have a quick chat about Fallout 76.
That's a big +1 on that one because, man.
It's a multiplayer game and it's a service game.
Yeah.
And it has microtransactions.
Man, that was a real look at the future from last year. The EU implements regulation that treats paid loot boxes like gambling, and the US looks increasingly likely to follow suit.
It's a couple of countries in Europe, I think, might have taken this. Or there's at least one country.
Belgium, I think, is the one. Yeah, that's like, hey man, if they got loot boxes, they don't belong here.
Yeah.
So. Anthem is super successful out of the gate, but fans quickly sour as they realize it's just another empty MMO loot grind shooter that is missing the soul of classic BioWare games and is marred by pay-to-win mechanics similar to The Division. Not yet. Comes out March, February?
I think so.
Yeah. We will see more games like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, mid-tier indie studios that craft super impressive single-player games that don't need to sell millions of copies to turn a profit.
THQ Nordic, that's their jam, so Darksiders 3 is probably a good example of that. When the CEO of that company literally said, we ain't making $200 million games, we're going to make it for $50 million and sell it for what we can, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they aim.
I'll add another point for that, because I feel like THQ Nordic's rise is that sort of high production value indie style game, and I think we're seeing more and more of them as the year went on. Excuse me. Smaller publishers like Devolver Digital and Tiny Build will explore subscription models like Patreon or Xbox Game Pass.
I don't think they have yet. Have they?
No, but man, Devolver Digital is just a powerhouse now.
Yeah, I don't know how many people work there, but credit to them for I apologize to Dave Lang for this, but it feels like they've nailed it where Dave Lang didn't.
Yes.
In wanting to be an indie game publisher as well as like developer and stuff like that. Like Devolver just made the right choices at every single turn.
And they made 400 right choices this last year. Like it's just it's crazy. Gaming Era predicted Yakuza 3 to 5 PS4 Mega Collection announce. I'm going to give that a point because that was announced, but I'm not entirely sure how. I don't know if we can say it's a mega collection yet, but I mean, they got announced, and that's the important part.
Yep.
Loot boxes abandoned in favor of a subscription model. Pay a monthly fee, get weekly bonuses, all while keeping the horrible reward scaling and pay-to-win mechanics in place. Holy crap, did he get that right for Fortnite? I'm going to be a point for that one, because, man, the Battle Pass is literally the thing he just talked about.
Yep, and that's also in Rocket League, and it's also in PUBG. It's also in Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Is it in Rainbow Six Siege yet?
I don't believe so yet, no.
Probably soon.
Yep.
Yeah. EA loses the Star Wars license in the wake of the loot box scandal.
I wish.
Yeah, surprisingly no, but I feel like maybe Disney didn't care because that game still sold really well.
Yeah, Disney probably didn't care because EA probably handed them a check with 9 zeros on the end of it and said,
right,
we're sorry for the bad PR. Here you go. Does
this money help?
Yes.
We still don't have any idea what Death Stranding is. Yeah, that's a big +1. Sonic Mania 2 announced will have more than 4 new levels. No, they announced Sonic Mania Plus, which was the DLC for it, that I think only added like 4 more levels. So, maybe not.
Yay!
Maximus Prime, we don't see a single game with paid loot boxes. Season passes and $100 edition games come back hard. I'm going to give a half a point.
Yeah, The $100 editions and stuff like that are definitely back, but oh boy, a loot box is still out and about.
The worst part is now it's just both. It's just loot boxes and season passes and subscriptions and
it's even worse because it's all three. It's the
gold
month-to-month
editions.
pass, it's the ridiculous editions, and it's the loot boxes, and it's more and more moving away from the cosmetic style of things, which bothers me.
Yes.
It's moving more and more into things that will affect your gameplay.
Right.
And anybody who took that Anthem questionnaire and didn't answer severely disagree to the very first question on it,
this guy
you should be shot.
Yeah. VR slides further away from the minds of gamers. Devs stop making games for such small profit margin and install base. No, I mean, we talked about VR just being steady the whole year.
I think it's just about profit margins, isn't it? It's like, can you make something within the requisite fields to make money back?
Right. Games as a service hit an apex and huge struggle as the market is flooded with poor games in the genre that don't have a financial model to support them since Battlefront 2 killed paid loot boxes. No, I feel like games as a service might have gotten a huge blow struck to it with Fallout 76.
Yep, and probably Destiny 2. And that's no offense against Destiny 2, but...
Yeah, God, Destiny 2 on launch. I feel like that's been a 1-2 punch against games as a service this year, but I don't feel like either one of them, nor the two games together, put the stake in the heart yet.
Yes.
It's close with Fallout 76.
I think the problem is as long as you've got those making bad examples, you've always got the good examples of Warframe, Elite Dangerous. These are games as a service games.
Division,
and they are doing things really well.
Yep. Rainbow Six Siege.
Yep.
Oh,
I think you need every single one of them to turn negative, and then we might see the end of it.
Right. After a couple more years of just milking everything.
Yep.
BioWare actually surprises everyone as Anthem releases and delivers on everything Destiny was supposed to, but didn't. Not yet. Just carry that over for next year. The first $75 standard price AAA retail games enter the market. Everyone flips out and still buys them.
It's going to be if that happens, which it didn't happen this year, but if that does happen, it's going to be the game that changes it to a $60. Right. And that's Call of Duty.
Yes.
Like, it's one of the only games that has the clout to be like, hey, we're $70 now.
Right.
Deal with it.
Right. Deal with it or don't play it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. General overall predictions for you, Moon, for 2019.
Okay. I almost started reading my looking forward to list then. Not that I'm hoping to get this over
almost
soon. Okay. PUBG struggles a lot. And unfortunately vanishes. Like, it just drops so far off the radar, it basically might as well not exist anymore.
Okay. Yikes.
It's a fine game. The devs have suffered because look at how quickly Fortnite is updated, and look at how quickly
I have it installed on my phone. I swear to God, once a week I get a new patch for it, which is great.
You do, because I get that on the Xbox.
I used to have it installed on my PS4, so I was sick of that.
Yeah. So PUBG, I think, is gonna go away. I do think Fortnite will die down a little bit this year.
Sure.
In regards of its domination of the world. But
people get tired of it, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think anything's going to come and take its place.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be Minecraft to Fortnite to something else. I just think Fortnite will simmer down a little bit.
Yeah.
I apologize for this one. Destiny 2 continues to disappoint.
Sure, yeah. I mean, as we're recording this, pulling the curtain back a little bit, we haven't talked about the annual pass on the proper show yet, but sure, probably.
Mm-hmm. Steam still doesn't make sense, which is to say it continues on really bad ideas with its everyone's in. No, now these adult games aren't in. Now certain people aren't allowed in, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Steam tumbles itself, basically, where it can't seem to make its mind up as to what it wants and struggles with it. And as a side effect of that, everyone now has their own storefront.
Yeah.
Which Epic are trying to take a big chunk out of, which oh boy, are they throwing down hard in that kind of front. But Ubisoft already does. Epic is pushing to make their storefront. Blizzard already has one. EA already has one.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if
funny about
Devolver Digital does.
Is that's now Activision's. So it's not even Blizzard's anymore, because like Call of Duty's on there and Destiny 2 is on there and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So everybody just blows out into their own storefront, and then we start to see the struggling thing of what front are you going to buy it on? You know, what can you hook into it? All that kind of
get those spreadsheets of which storefronts it's available on with what DLC.
Yeah, it's like an Assassin's Creed launch, except it's just for one game on every different storefront.
Right. God, yeah.
At least one of those storefronts is a failure, as in does not make enough money or doesn't really hit it the way it should.
Right.
Assassin's Creed DLC is amazing. I say that's my wishful thinking one for this year.
Right.
And my super duper wishful thinking one and final one for general gaming in 2019. Anthem is amazing.
Oh, hello.
And I say that hoping that it is. And for full disclosure, this has been recorded several weeks before it has aired. I am not in the Anthem beta, so I am not subject to an NDA in regards to it, so I have not played it, for the record.
I'm the opposite of everything he just said.
Yes.
I am, and I am.
Yes, so all we know from you about Anthem is it's a video game.
Yep. That's correct.
So, yeah, there's my predictions.
I predict that Atlas is going to do something really foolish this year that causes major and irreversible backlash. Like, the thing about Atlas is the thing that most people don't see is they make all these micro wrong decisions throughout the year, and then they drop Persona 5. And it's like, all right, Atlas, yeah, woo. But I feel like something in 2019 they're going to make the wrong decision about, and like that's going to be the last straw for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. I just always feel like I have to make an Atlas prediction.
You think it causes enough issues for Microsoft to think about buying them?
Maybe. It'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're not an American company, so I'm not sure. Loot boxes in the U.S. get formal legislation, which causes a few huge games to shut down. I think
we've already seen it with the Belgium law that came into effect.
Yep, and I feel like some games will see shut down and come back, and I think some games will just disappear. I think, honestly, if I was to make a real well-educated prediction, I think that's what's going to happen to PUBG. Oh, the loot box legislation came. We're just going to shut it down in the U.S. for a little bit to fix it, and then it never comes back.
I could see it happening. I mean, it'd be bad, but everyone complains about the legislation, like not wanting the legislation and not wanting all this stuff to come into effect. Stop being so toxic and poisonous. At this point, I say bring it on.
Sure.
I hate most governments. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring on the legislation, because at this point, the games industry needs it.
Yeah. I think a new mainline Final Fantasy game is announced this year. I don't think it comes out, but I think Final Fantasy 16 is going to get announced. And with how popular 14 still is, I think it's a single-player JRPG.
Oh, yeah, considering they just cancelled all the DLC for the MMO.
Well, no, that was for 15, so that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's got to be single-player. They have to make it single-player.
Yeah. And I think 14 is still doing so incredibly well. God, 11 is still doing really well. So I don't think they eat their own lunch by making another MMO. But I think 15 did so well for so long that I think we'll probably see that single-player offline RPG that has some sort of extended support on it again.
Doesn't count towards your predictions, but male or female lead?
I will say female, probably. Just because I think it's just like the opposite. You flip-flop back and forth on which gender it is. 13 had female, 15 had male. I think 16 will have female.
Okay, but what did 12 have?
Male.
And what did 11 have?
The 3. 11 was an MMO.
What did 10 have?
Male and female.
No. Zidane was the protagonist of that game. It's a male with a monkey tail.
Well, but no, that was 9. 10 is Titus, but Yuna in the 10 too.
Okay, I can kind of let you off with that one. Okay, so that's a dual one. What about 9? Male. 8? Male. 7? Male. 6?
Female.
5?
There are 4 main characters.
Okay.
2 and 2.
Well, we'll stop there.
Yeah. Case, I appreciate your point, but it'd be nice to see another one, and they probably want to. Noctis wasn't nearly as popular as Lightning is. For some reason, Lightning is still stupid popular, so I think they're going to want to try and get that again.
Was that written by a woman, the Lightning's games?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I'd like to actually see them come in with a really hard-hitting, Japanese woman writer, and see what they can do with that kind of long-form experience.
That'd be great, yeah. My last prediction is that THQ Nordic changes their name to just THQ.
Why didn't I predict that? Yeah. Come on.
They also announced they had a press conference planned at E3 2020. So I think it's too late for them to slip in Sony's. I'd love to see if they could for Sony's 2019, where it's like Microsoft, Nintendo, THQ, Bethesda. Just get real weird with it. But I feel like there's not enough time.
Honestly, I'd love to see them do it at this year, 2019's E3. Steal Sony's spot, steal their booth space, steal the press conference.
We live here now.
And then at the end of the press conference, have it set up so your booth is THQ Nordic or whatever, but then at the end of the press conference, have an eraser come on and delete the Nordic section and then remove the Nordic from the booth.
It's just THQ. That'd be great. All right, let's talk about community predictions, and then we will, before we talk about our most anticipated games for 2019, we'll crown the most correctest, who I just did the math for down here. Musim says Persona 6 announced. That would be really interesting. Instead of them milking more Persona 5, just have them say, here's another one.
Well, they've still got to announce Persona 5 Portable for the Switch.
Right.
They've still got to announce Persona 5 Enhanced for the Pro and the X.
That's correct, right.
Persona 5 Dancing All Night.
That just came out.
Oh.
It was dancing under moonlight or something like that.
That's actually really good for that game as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't think there will be any new announcements of Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's the Switch exclusive SMT game.
Yeah.
He's probably right, but I really want that to come out because that's going to be really great. He predicts Anthem bombs. That's it. So
I hope he's wrong, but it's always a possibility.
I feel like Anthem's going to go one way or the other. Either it's going to be Game of the Year, or it's going to be gosh, remember when EA tried to do that Destiny thing? God, now we have 2 bad Destiny games, right?
It's the Crackdown 3 thing all over again. There is no middle ground.
No.
You will love it or you will hate it.
There'll be a couple thousand people playing it and being like, it's pretty okay. I have fun playing it. And everyone else is like, yeah, man, I'm good. Cyberpunk 2077 does not release in 2019.
Honestly, I expect that as a 2022 at this point.
Yeah, I feel like we have a 50-50 chance of it releasing every year from here on out. Either it's going to they worked on a gangbusters and it's done, it's coming out this year, or any time now between now and 2022.
Yeah, plus it's CD Projekt Red, so.
Yeah, who knows? Universal accounts for Warframe will happen. Parenthetically, no, it won't. My prediction is it will. So, if only.
I really do wish, because I'd love to be able to jump from my PlayStation over to my Xbox and have the one account across all devices.
That would get me playing
so
Warframe.
Much fun.
Because I could play it on my Switch in bed, do a couple of quests. I could play it on my PS4 or my PC. Yeah. Also, Destiny 2. That would be really great. Cough, cough. T-Bomb Rocks predicts Ubisoft creates a Game Pass / EA Access type subscription service. Probably.
Yeah, Ubisoft have the library for it.
Yeah. Walmart creates its own game development or publishing division. Interesting.
Could see it.
Yeah, of anybody, I could see that. Amazon already has Amazon Game Studios, or I think that's what it's called. But yeah,
Google has it.
Google has it now, yeah. I could see Walmart being big enough to at least try it. Put out a couple of games.
I'm just trying to think of what games they put out, and the first thing that popped into my head was Agatha Christie's The Customers of Walmart, where it's an object-finding game set in Walmart.
That'd be really great. The price of SSD hard drives continue to drop in price. Mm-hmm. Probably, yeah. Digital game sales as a whole overtake physical game sales. Maybe.
Yeah, I could see that, considering we're hearing less and less numbers physically because nobody wants to talk about it because it's going downhill.
Yeah.
GameSpot announced a record loss of like $600 trillion or whatever this year.
Yeah.
Sorry, GameStop, not GameSpot.
Yeah. Konami announces a game in the Castlevania series, either new or remake. I never know what they're doing anymore.
I don't think Konami knows what they're doing anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. Bearded Lady says THQ Nordic is going to be the new Sony at E3 in a good way. I'd love to.
Hopefully.
And BioWare announces the new Dragon Age. They just teased it at Game Awards, but
nothing.
Name.
But she actually did. She did tell me to mention that she had actually posted that before the Game Awards happened.
She had. That's fair. Yes.
So,
yeah. Servo predicts continued crossplay teases / opportunities. Yeah, I feel like the general groundswell of support from customers is going to be you need to have crossplay, especially out of the gate.
Yeah.
Does Anthem have that? I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know much about Anthem because I haven't been paying attention to it.
I've been deliberately ignoring it because I want to go in as blind as possible. No hype, no nothing. Let me get in and see how it goes.
Give me that download. Mm-hmm. Servo says last year of E3.
Oh, potentially.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. VR mostly remains a gimmick with no big releases.
Yeah.
I feel like I take issue with it being a gimmick because there are no big releases, but everything that's coming out has been so solid lately.
I think that's the thing, though, is it's the difference between solid and big releases. Because, like, Moss is a small developer. It's a small game, but it's a solid game. Beat Saber is a tiny developer, really solid game. Tetris, that's a solid game, but it's technically not a huge release because, hey, it's another Tetris, and in reality, who actually cares except for people who know who's developing it?
Right.
You know, it needs Resident Evil 7. It needs
it needs your big
releases.
Games. Yeah. Gabeinator predicts Jump Force manages to subvert expectations and is actually pretty good.
The worst thing is I'm avoiding this game like nobody's business because I'm so secretly hyped for it. I've got this little Shonen Jump bubbling up inside of me, and I just need it Jump now. Force.
Yeah. Bethesda announces the nuclear option, pun intended, for Fallout 76, pivoting to a fully free-to-play model in an attempt to bring back the player base.
$20 off within the first 2 weeks of that thing coming out.
Yeah, that's not uncommon for holiday sales, though. I don't know if that's indicative, but I feel like free-to-play... I feel like if March comes around and they haven't gone free-to-play yet, the game is probably just put out to pasture.
Yeah, and at that point, I'll be honest, they probably deserve it.
Yeah, not a great year not a great month for Fallout 76.
No.
Capcom announces Mega Man X9 to follow up on the relative success of Mega Man 11 and the X Legacy collections. I'd like to see that just to see what it is. Rapid Fire Yakuza releases from Sega. All 3 remasters and Project Judge will be out by year's end, capped off with a surprise announcement of a localized Yakuza Ishin. I want all of that.
Yeah, I still haven't played any of the Yakuza games. I'll be honest, I kind of want them all right now, just so I can start one and play all the way through till whatever.
Just keep it going. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Disney starts buying up smaller developers again because it's that time in the cycle for them to get back into making video games.
Yeah.
Yep. In 2 years will be the time for layoffs.
Yep. They'll buy them, they'll put 1 or 2 games out, and then they'll immediately start closing down studios again.
Yep.
What's Johnny Vignacchi doing these days?
Oh, God. Yeah, thankfully not working for them anymore. He just announced what he was doing. I don't remember what it is. It was something really impressive.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't remember. The Hannah predicts THQ Nordic officially becomes just THQ. I like how almost all of us are predicting that. Steam loses significant market share to Epic.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
really good based on the recent announcements.
Yeah. Demon's Souls Remastered. Interesting. It's like the only one left.
Yeah, kind of is, but it'd also be the hardest because it's a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah. And I feel like they would almost do Bloodborne 2 instead.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more clamoring for a Bloodborne 2 over that. Bethesda abandons Fallout 76. Probably.
And this one's a lot of this.
Yeah. And this one's a guarantee. Jeff Gerstmann remains a threat.
Yes.
Jeff Gerstmann is always a threat.
Knife or bat Jeff, it doesn't matter. He's a threat with both.
That's right. Just a couple more here. Maximus Prime VR slips drastically as the $400 all-in-one headsets crash and burn as they hit the market. Yeah, 50-50 on that one. I'm not sure. PC gaming hits an all-time high right before the next generation of consoles comes into play. I mean, like 2018 was a really great game for PC gaming in general, so keep going up, sure.
Oh, 2018 was a really great year for gaming, period.
Yeah. The introduction of the Unreal Store gives Steam real competition and disrupts the PC game store space, saving us all a lot of money from the crazy sales they put together to steal and retain market share.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how if Epic handles sales at all.
What we really need to do is we really need to get really good at doing like models, 3D models, get them on the Valve store. Like me and you both need to do this. We need to get them on the Valve store, make a buttload of money on the Dota items on Steam, get hired by Valve to go and work at Valve, join the cult of Valve, and then we need to walk to our supervisor and say, okay, we both want do what we're going to do the Valve thing, and we're going to do what we want to do, and what we want to do is edit and manage your storefront because it's a hot pile of garbage, and apparently nobody who works here wants to do that.
I think that's a foolproof plan. I love it. Let's do it. Let's buy Maya right now. See you guys later.
Okay. Yep.
Thankfully, Fortnite's insane popularity takes off as the market is flooded with... sorry, I think that's supposed to be tapers off. There's a typo here. As the market is flooded with Battle Royale games that all cannibalize one another's sales.
I don't know how Fortnite did it.
I feel like there aren't really very many Battle Royale games that are coming out right now because of Fortnite. I feel like once Fortnite starts to decline, that's when someone will be like, hey, it's a brand new Battle Royale. Sick of that old Fortnite. Let's play this thing.
I mean, Call of Duty basically ate PUBG's dinner. Like, yeah. I say I don't know how Fortnite did it. I do. It was free. That's how they did it.
It's free and has fun graphics.
Universal graphics, yeah. So kids can play it.
Yep.
Call of Duty is taken away from PUBG. Battlefield is going to take away from PUBG.
Yep.
And then after that, you kind of lost. The calling went downhill so quickly. It was unbelievable. Yeah. All of these other games.
And why would you make another one now, right now? Like, it just doesn't seem... Yeah. Red Faction Guerrilla 2 is announced at E3, and I jump up and knock over my beer, ruining my Xbox One controller from the excitement.
I hope so.
That would be great.
I say I hope so, but I also need to learn. Like I said, I read some interviews with the head of THQ Nordic, and him basically saying, we're not going to spend $200 million to make a game. We're going to spend 50 to 60 because that's what we feel like we can do. If that takes place, if Red Faction 2 gets announced, I need to immediately taper my expectations.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. Late Elf says, predictions number 1 through 5, please just let Battle Royale die out.
I wish.
Yeah, probably not. Last but not least, Real Name says, the death of paid-for loot boxes / pay-to-win mechanics. I mean, maybe if the government stuff happens, but otherwise probably not.
Yeah, we need legislation at this point to deal with that stuff.
That's the word I was looking for. Epic Store will surpass Steam. mean,
I could see that.
has a fighting chance. And Anthem is going to be amazing.
Oh, I hope so. I love how divided people are on Anthem in our predictions, by the way.
Yep.
Where it's like, it's going to flop, it's going to be amazing, it's going to flop, it's going to be amazing.
Yep. Now that all of our predictions are over, let's crown the most correctest of 2018, and that is...
Don't tell me it's Hannah.
In a surprising move, Matt from Oz
Nice.
beat out the Hannah by 2 points.
Yeah.
So, good for you, Matt from Oz. Second and third place were actually Maximus Prime and the Hannah, both tied at 5.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, a lot of really great predictions. Now that we're sort of putting 2018 back in the rearview mirror, we've done our games of the year. Let's talk about stuff we're looking forward to in 2019. Moon, hit me with... I have like 12 of them, so hit me with a couple of yours first.
Oh, okay. Start with Control, first and foremost.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that, but yes.
It's a Remedy household. It's an Xbox household. Like, this is a game. Yeah, this is a game for us. So, Youngblood is definitely way up there. Not Youngblood. Control is definitely up there for being excited for games in 2019.
Yeah.
Such as Youngblood, which is number 2 on my list. The Wolfenstein cooperative game where you play his kids.
Right. I forgot about that.
Oh boy, do I hope that comes out next year, and oh boy, do I hope it's good.
I think it's supposed to come out in 2019, yeah.
Yep. From what I hear as well. Number 1, it's 2 female protagonists in a game.
Yep.
So, representation at last.
Yeah.
I was listening to Jeff Ramsey talk about that, actually, and how his daughter Millie is hyper excited for Wolfenstein Youngblood and didn't care about the other wolves because she gets to play as a girl. Representation is important.
Yep.
Oh, one just for me here. Ace Combat 7.
Yeah. Finally.
Give me them sweet jets.
Yeah.
And that stupid story in Home Slovakia, or whatever they're going to call it this year. Obviously, it's a space. It's a jet game, so I'm all in on that thing.
Yeah.
This is less of an. There's 2 here that are excited but kind of not. Number 1, Crackdown 3.
Yeah, I have that on my list.
Yeah, because it's really hard to not get excited about Crackdown 3.
Right.
But it's really hard to get excited about Crackdown 3 at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's cross our fingers and hope. And the second of those 2 games is Anthem for me.
Yeah, I have that on my list too.
I hope it's good. I hope it's everything I want it to be. At this point, I don't even know if I know what I want it to be.
I feel like that's one of those games that will probably play well because BioWare knows how to make great games. Mm-hmm. It's just going to rely a lot on the end game. And I feel like after The Division, after Destiny 1 and 2, all 3 of them coming out with pretty weak end game out of the box, I feel like if they haven't learned that lesson by this point, you sort of are going to get what you deserve.
Fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's good. I genuinely do. Speaking of, actually, there's another one. The Division 2.
Yeah, I don't have that on my list just because I don't know yet.
Honestly, I would well, if Sony can get off their butts and allow crossplay, it would be really fun to play The Division with you.
Yes, that would be a lot of fun.
I love The Division so much, and going back and playing it again recently, I've realized how much I love that game.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games that the fact that they announced it before E3 and then at E3, all they talked about was endgame stuff. It tells me how much they're more prepared they are going into it.
Right.
But I'm a little torn with the messaging, very similar to Far Cry 5 of...
Right.
This isn't a political statement. It takes place in Washington, D.C.
Right. Wink.
This isn't a political statement about saving the world from a group of radicals. Okay, sure.
Right.
No political statements there at all. Hyped up for random reasons, Metro Exodus.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Because it's a Metro game, and I've always been weirdly fascinated with the Metro games.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2, because it's...
Yep.
Yeah, Resident Evil I just need more Resident Evil 2.
I feel like that's one of those games where you look at it and it's like, that's gotta be good, right? Like,
Yeah.
it has to be good.
I mean, they've put a lot of work into it, it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in there that it takes from the OG Resident Evil 2. So I'm all in on Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy with that thing. Jump Force.
Yeah. It could be super cool.
I can't not be hyped about this game because I think I mentioned it when we did our E3 episode. I'm pretty sure I mentioned I had a Shonen Jump game, which was an import from Japan.
On the DS one?
On my DS.
Yep.
Where you could smash through the panels, and it was kind of like Smash Brothers, but in comic book panels.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the most fun games I've ever played.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was hardcore into Bleach and didn't really care about Dragon Ball, so the fact that I got to be Ichigo was even better. But oh boy, if they can nail this thing, I could see me like, if you're gonna make a Smash Brothers competitor and you're not Nintendo, sorry Sony, nice try and all, but that didn't get you very far.
Yeah, no.
If there's a company that can do it, it's Shonen Jump.
Yeah, for real.
Because if
they
you
got them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They have everyone you might want in there, and I can't help but be excited at the potential of that game.
Yeah.
My last 2 games right now, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is, pretty sure this is the Dark Souls developers making a game for, is it Dark Souls or Platinum, whoever, making a combat game for the Xbox.
Right.
So I'm down for that.
Like what they did with Neo, just for...
Yeah, exactly. And my last game, I know you will understand, listener, please forgive me.
Okay.
It's Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's number 1 on my list.
Because, oh boy, do I love the Kingdom Hearts games, as stupid as they are.
Yep. It's like Assassin's Creed. I love them because they're stupid. They play really well, both of them, and they're stupid. That's a great combo.
Even the card game wasn't that bad. Like, it was surprisingly good.
The GBA one is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. And I don't care if I've never seen, like, the Entangled or whatever the one with the new Rapunzel one is.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's got Winnie the Pooh, and if they put Tron in there again, I'll be even more losing my mind.
Yeah, probably. Tron in 4K.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The rest of my list, I have Kingdom Hearts 3, Crackdown 3, Anthem, of course. The Tales of Vesperia remaster.
I've never played that game, and I believe I actually have it on 360.
Probably,
I've never played it.
I really love Tales of Vesperia, and I'm hoping you can go home again, you know?
Yes.
DOA 6 is supposed to be released in 2019.
Oh boy, yeah, and pre-ordered steelbooks as well now, so...
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with that. 5 was really good, and I feel like they could do a really great job of sort of evolving that game again, and I want to see where that goes.
And didn't Mr. Boobjiggle leave as well, so... Yeah,
he left after 4...
So the fact that they're moving further away from that is great.
Yeah, it's only good news. Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove.
Yep.
Coming out March 1st.
I should have known that would be on your list.
Yep. I am... the more that they show of that game, the more that it looks like a sequel to the first Toe Jam and Earl, which is what we need.
Yeah.
And it looks really great.
I did see some clips from the Toe Jam and Earl game with trees, and...
Yeah.
Oh boy, was that disturbing things to look at.
Yeah, weird. Team Sonic Racing. There's another Sonic Racing game coming out in 2019, and I'm pumped.
Oh, speaking of which, actually, yes. Sorry, thank you for that reminder. Crash Team Racing remake.
Yes, that's coming out in 2019, right? Yes.
I'm in, 100%.
Day one. Yep.
It's probably the best kart racing game ever.
I will agree with you. Yeah. Catherine Full Body might be coming out in 2019. I really liked the original game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that it has not aged super well, and I'm concerned about the additional protagonist that they're adding in. But we will see, I guess.
Yeah.
I wrote Gears 5 question mark. I don't know if it's coming out this year, but I'm pumped about it either way.
Yeah, they've shown a gameplay trailer last E3, and they've been dead silent since, so...
I have Game Pass, so,
Guess what you'll get day one.
Yeah, the level of investment is fairly low. The Medieval remake.
There's another remake I need to play.
Really excited about playing Medieval again, especially with camera controls this time.
Yep.
And analog sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Twin Mirror at the very bottom, just because I have Don't Nod has my interest.
It's your control.
Yes.
So much so that we actually confused it earlier.
Yeah. Also, my last one is Skull and Bones.
Oh, see, I'm really interested in it, but I didn't play Black Flag. So I don't have that thing with the shippy combat stuff.
I'm interested in Skull and Bones mostly just to see what the hell it is, because we keep getting like bigger and bigger trailers. I'm still sort of like, cool, but what am I doing?
Is it still a multiplayer-based ship combat thing?
Right, because if that's it, then push those expectations all the way down. But
yeah, if that's it, then I know Boston is dusting your hands off and going, "I'm out," and then walking out the door.
Yep, that'll be me in some future episode going, "I'm out." And speaking of I'm out, my voice is nearly out, and we still have another episode to record.
And it's a big one too.
2.5 hours. Holy Christ! But that's actually our year. That's 2018. Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone who's been a patron. You've all made our Patreon is a wild success this past year. Everyone who's joined us on Discord. The Hannah for setting up the Discord server. Big props to him. And everybody who's come and chatted with us and watched live streams, watched videos, and listened to episodes. Thank you so much. 2018 has been an incredible year. And I know 2019, even if video games are garbage, Moonpear and I will have a great time on this show.
Dude, we've still got 2016 games to play. So it doesn't matter how good 2019 is or isn't.
It won't matter to us. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next year.
Bye.